Did you see my cosplay?
Which one?
Wait, what?
That one. That one. Wait a second.
Wait, you did a cosplay?
Yeah, it was impressive.
Like an
It was
actual?
insane.
Okay. I missed that. Okay, wait, I gotta put that on the stream, right?
The MTX looks so fucking good. I even made a Voldemort cosplay.
What the fuck? Almost got me.
The build is insane.
The build is it's.
What is that build?
That's Kinetic Bolt. That they released it last
green
week.
MTX or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Kinetic Bolt in the beginning before I realized that I'm stupid and I should use something else to trigger Spellslinger.
It is actually one garbage skill, and I really did I have like 7 Link gloves, and I compared. So I was starting this tier 19 full Delirium map with Kinetic Bolt, and I really struggled with the clearing. Although my character is worth like probably 1,000 exalts right now, and then I just switched in my Kinetic Blast. And I was like 2 or 3 times faster and way more damage because of all the explosions and stuff. So I think for mapping itself, it doesn't really be a difference. Maybe even the Kinetic Bolt is faster just because it has so freaking high clear with Awakened GMP and stuff. But if you really want to do full Delirium, you should actually go Kinetic Blast because it's like better.
It doesn't look as cool though.
Yeah, that's true. Like the zigzag thing is actually hilarious.
Power Siphon's my favorite.
I just
miss the old Power
play.
Siphon. The animation, the blue swirl was awesome. The old one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's a sad thing. I mean, I like the new animations. They look pretty amazing in many cases, but a lot of the old ones I miss as well. Like the new standard one-shot animation looks very beautiful, but it lacks what the previous one had, like just this feeling of nostalgia, I suppose.
Were you actually able to kill Awakener with your build, or how far did you progress after that moment in the end?
Oh, it was this build?
Yeah.
Nah, dude, like it's like decommission. Like the golems is just like they just trigger me. They keep dying. They're idiots. They keep like running into danger. And I was
definitely told to ask why you thought doing an elementalist golem would be a good idea.
Like it's just okay. So it's like back from Incursion. Like my first build that kind of got me on the radar. It was like back in Incursion, and it was an elementalist blade fairy, and it was
the three dragons helm thing.
Yeah, the 3 dragon thing, and it was really fun and pretty popular. And so I've been like kind of promising my chat to like rework it and get it back. And I really wanted to keep it elementalist. Like right now in this day and age, I feel like just even assassin, physical conversion would be a lot better for chain, for single target, for everything. So I wanted to go elementalist, but like try the golems. But yeah, I'm really disappointed. So I'll play real build like tomorrow or the day after.
The thing is, when they rework the elementalist, the only, like for me personally, right, as somebody that really enjoys speed builds, is when they remove this elemental ailment spread from the elementalist. This is when it died for me. Like golems are nice and Ele reflect immune and whatnot, the pendulum of destruction, whatever, But this elemental ailment spread was this one thing that made the elementalist so freaking unique, and they removed that. So I'm just done with elementalist in total. Like, I don't know. I think like every assassin build compared to the elementalist is stronger. Like assassin is better anyways. Like, assassin is absolutely stupid.
Yep. Love it.
Assassin's insane indeed. Well, I mean, we're gonna keep that first part because now you guys already perfectly introduced yourself with like a strong stance on certain topics. But I just quickly want to say welcome everyone who's here. Welcome to the Path of Exile community podcast, Faded Connections, with BalorMage and myself discussing stuff with PoE community members. And the podcast is always growing. I would like to also say hi to the people that are not in the live audience, but extend the warm welcome to the viewers on youtube.com/BalorMage, as well as all the listeners on the various podcast platforms that we can be found on. Good morning, day, afternoon, evening, and night, everyone. It's been, as usual, 2 weeks since the last podcast. We're 5 weeks into the current Path of Exile Challenge League Harvest. And tonight we're joined by the one and only fellow European broadcasters, Somayd and mbXtreame. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the podcast.
MB, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
I was just like, in that moment, I was like thinking, wait, MB starts with an M, Somayd with an S, so I'll should be first just alphabetically, right?
Yep.
So yeah, hello.
Same reasoning.
It's me again. I'm back with another podcast, I guess, or joined by another podcast. I'll just skip it over to Somayd here.
All right. Yo, I'm glad to be here. It's not. It's the second time now. It's been a while since I last did a podcast. I think actually, like, your podcast was the last one I did, and yeah, I'm pretty pumped, honestly.
Still, to the very day, one of my favorite episodes. Was a really good one because it was on Blight and it was not all positive. But we had some really cool moments where we all like basically confessed our love to this game. No, it was a really good episode. I did the highlight editing. I don't do that these days anymore because I don't have that much time and the content is not doing that well, but yeah.
I'll try and beat that then. Today.
And how have you been, BalorMage? You're so silent. It's so early for you, as usual.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I love crafting, so they didn't manage to kill Barry, and
What?
now I get to play aura stacking, so I'm really happy about that.
Barry? Who?
Who's Barry?
So Harold's younger brother,
Oh, I see.
who's slightly weaker.
Okay, I see.
I've named him Barry.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
It seems like it should be his name, but it's basically
think-
aura stacking.
Barry and Harry.
So what class did you go with? Like, did you go with the Guardian or Scion? Anything else?
I ended up going Scion Spark again. It's too good.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean,
And my tooltip currently is like 900,000 standing in my hideout with no RF on. But it can maintain RF. And
they did something.
I have
mean,
no woke gems, and I have another plus level to get somewhere. I have no corruptions on shavs, like all sorts of things. There's tons of improvement. I'm only like level 93. It
Oh, yeah.
was nearly 1 million tooltip just in game on Spark.
I mean, that's. I mean, last league Herald Sacred, right? I played it once for a day, like budget version, and I saw how stupid that was, and I just said, like, you know what, guys, I'm not gonna play this. Like last league, everybody was playing Herald Stacker, and I just kept on with my, in that case, more ethical build. Still 1000 exalts build, but still it's not Herald Stacker, okay? This league, after all being nerfed, Purpose of Harbinger being nerfed, like everything, I said, like, oh, well, I mean, maybe this league I could try an Aura Stacker. So I did, you know, and I mean, I was like surprised how stupid that actually is. I had 3000 energy shield because none of my gear, as you said, like no corrupted shafts, no corrupted like Call of Brotherhoods, you know. I had my Explo Nebulous for like 300x or so. So it was quite good. But I was just killing Saurus, Deathless, 3000 energy shield, just because the defenses of the character, like 90 all resistance, 90 physical mitigation, 75 chaos res, you know, like especially with harvest crafting, getting chaos res on your jewels is so easy.
Yep.
It was like, I don't know, dude. It's like I played it 2 days or 3 days maximum just to finish off my beachhead gamble, basically my infused beachheads, and then I was done with it already. So like this should not be in the game. It's a thing, you know. You cannot, like, as you say, like, yeah, you're having 1 million DPS Spark in your hideout, right? So if you would say, what is an actual Spark character? What would make sense? Like Inquisitor, maybe an Elementalist, maybe an Assassin Power Charge, you know? Who of those characters, even with a 500 exalts budget, would have 1 million Spark DPS in hideout, you know? And we're not talking about the physical damage mitigation and the other stuff right now, right? So I think it's just completely stupid and will get nerfed again. I mean,
I don't think it'll get nerfed again.
Yep. The
I
game's
also
also
don't
like
think it deserves to get nerfed again.
Do you really
The
think?
barrier to entry to this build now, well, basically, this build is now roughly somewhere between 5 and 10% of the power it was last league.
Yep.
Like, legitimately 5 to 10%. That still probably makes it one of the strongest builds that exists in the game. But also, its barrier to entry, its cost of entry to get the build functioning even, is at minimum 300, 350x right now. And that is increasing very quickly. Like, you look at it, and if you don't have that much and are in your early 90s, you will fall over dead repetitively just in tier 16 maps. The barrier to entry is so high, and if you don't get there, the build is garbage.
I encountered that. I had like all the core items at my Expel Nebulist, my shafts, whatever, right? That was like level 90 or so, but I had not a single cluster jewel in there. I had to run white tier maps because I had no damage. I was not tanky. It all, this build like lives and dies with the cluster jewels. But the thing is, every time you add one more cluster jewel with like all these aura nodes and so on, you really feel the power increasing. And after like 2 sets of jewels, I was like, hey, I can comfortably play tier 16 maps. I can do Awakener. But when I added like jewel number 4 and like 3 and 4, I was like, wait, what is happening? This is getting stupid, right? And then I added 5 and 6. I was like, what is this shit? You know, so.
But realistically, for less than 5 exalts, I can think of 20 different builds that can do all content in the game, including Awaken at 8 and all that sort of stuff, and full clear all of them. You've never needed this much power. This is wasted power. It's wasted power for the sake of, I just like to build really powerful characters. And I think it's important to have builds like this that are disgustingly strong, but also that their entry level is so high that I could literally spend 2,500 exalts on it and not be done.
That's right.
And so I'm okay with this build existing now, whereas last league's Herald Stacker was actually, no, that was too much. This is literally 5% of that. And it's still probably one of the strongest builds that exists. So last league was ridiculous. That deserved to go away. I'm pretty happy with it in its current state. It gives me something to chase long term. I've got a reason to keep making money.
But you know what I have the biggest concerns with is the RMT level in this league. When builds like that exist, especially it's basically our fault as streamers basically playing exactly those builds on stream, and people are watching it and be like, why can this guy face tank Saurus? Why can this guy do this? Why has he so much DPS, right? I want to have that too. What do I need? Oh, I need 500 exalts. I'll never be able to get 500 exalts unless, and this starts it. And this is a big problem.
No, I don't think that the build meta influences how many people use RMT services against terms of service. I would not agree. I mean, not without like significant data to support that thesis. Like,
well, that doesn't track.
You guys are playing hardcore solo self-fund, right?
Also, dude, you also have to see, like, last league was one of the, like, without all the build stuff happening and like juicing and without simulacrum and stuff like that, it was one of the most exalt leagues I've ever had for me personally. Like, just so many raw exalt drops.
Oh, you get like 10 a day, like no problem. Last league it
was insane. Like, I didn't get 10 a day, but I definitely had days where I had 3 or 4, I think. And it was just nuts. So,
which in solo self-found hardcore, you're moving significantly slower than the softcore players. So 3 a day is still pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's insane.
Was a good day for me. Yeah. So Matt, you want to say? Sorry, I interrupted you. I felt.
No, not at all. I just wanted to go back to the talking about like the aura stacker, like Harold versus Barry. I think
Barry.
What was so fun because I smoked the build. Like I played like Deadeye to 100, Guardian to 100, Sign to 100. Sign being like hands down the best one. And what was fun to me about the build, it's not like that I was super powerful, is the fact that the game became like just upgrades, because every upgrade, like what you said, MB, like each upgrade is so noticeable on your character. it gets addicting. You're like, okay, for 30x, I can like feel the power that I just put in. Like I can feel my time and it translates into my character. And I feel like this is one of the build. Like I've been playing PoE forever. That's one of the build I played that converts currency into power the most efficiently like ever. Some builds you can put in like a ton of currency and it's gonna feel slightly better, tiny bit better.
And levels too, right? Like
and levels too.
normally, if you get to like early mid 90s on any build, if you grind all the way to 100, you don't really notice all you notice is the like slight relief at like you hit 99. You're like, I could die in the next half an hour and it would be fine, right? Like that's the only relief that there is. But like the aura stacker, every level is like 200,000 damage. Like it's super noticeable.
And those levels are really easy to get as well because you basically never die. So it's just like just keep mapping and you'll get there. So that's what I liked about it.
It's certainly the thing it lost the most from last league was survivability. It's definitely a lot squishier than last league's. That being said, it's still very tanky, just not quite face tank everything forever.
Well, it depends how you build it, because I've seen a dude on YouTube playing Essence Drain Contagion as an aura stacker. Like, I would never go that into my mind that I say, hey, you know what, I'll play Essence Drain Contagion as a Guardian, right? Because no cast speed, no nothing, you know? And I've never really thought about it, you know? It's like playing we could play Cyclone, I don't know, Hierophant, whatever, you know? It's like, why,
Essence Drain
you know?
Contagion?
Yeah, and tell you, he only had 2 cluster jewels, like 2 sources, not 3 on the tree. He had 12,000 energy shield with all the benefits. He had like over 4,000 or 5,000 life, like energy shield per second without essence drain, and still, and that's the sick one, 8 million essence drain DPS. I have played like essence drain is one of my most favorite builds of all time. I swear.
Really?
You know, like league starter wise, like I just love essence drain contagion. It feels so good.
Wow. Okay.
But I always build in like max block, for example, with the energy shield on block, stuff like that. You know, spell slinger that I made last league was like 1 million DPS. If I go bow, I had like 2.5 million DPS, right? There are people that go like over 3-4 million DPS with like really min-max gear on essence drain, right?
Yeah.
This guy being a freaking tank, whatever, like 12,000 DS as an aura stacker. You know, usually aura stackers nowadays have like 4 or 5k maybe, right? This guy had a video showcase face tanking the entire content, including quadra beams from Cyrus. He was just standing there because he had the extra regen from Essence Drain as well, right? I was like, what am I watching? There is no freaking way you can play a legit Essence Drain character, even with the best gear in the game, that you would even come close to what this Aura Stacker did. And this is something, that's why I still say, this should just not be in the game. You're playing an Aura bot that is doing 10 times more damage than any legit version of the same skill. And this is something that...
I can get a 1 million spark tooltip on 4 different characters that aren't Aura bots, for sure.
Okay, I'm like never, like this is the first time I was playing Spark as the Aura Stacker. So I don't really have any
reference
experience on playing a Spark character, because every time I played it was shit.
Yeah, I can definitely get that, but what it won't get is the tankiness. I can get that damage on an Inquisitor or an Assassin, but I can't make it this tanky. It's just tankier. Last league's was a completely different story. Last league, I had full quantity gear on. Like legitimately, I didn't even convert damage, nothing. It was just quantity everywhere. Pariahs, everything. And I still had like a 1.8 million tooltip or something with a Pierce and Fork in. No, not Pierce, Fork and Chain in. It was like 1.8 million. And I'm like, yeah, that's not. I'm literally in a clear speed setup in all quantity gear. Like last league's was wrong. But now it feels a lot better.
Dude, honestly, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just broken and my brain has delay, but like, I just love OP build. Like, I think my Cyan last league ended up with like, so it was like a 12, 13 meters budget with exploding abilities and all this. It was like 600 to 700 million DPS, 9k yes, good block. It was just ridiculous. And Malevolence as well. I just loved it. I just killed like an AU like 6k depth. It just felt good. I don't know why. And I played a lot, right? So I guess it depends on like I guess some people do appreciate the disgusting amount of power that you can have, and it's not gonna detract you from the game or just like feel like you've done everything so you don't have to play anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't mind if he's got like when something is so blatantly OP like this, you know he's gonna get nerfed. So my approach was I'm gonna smoke this build, I'm gonna play this thing a lot, and I won't be mad when it gets nerfed. And I don't even want to play Aura Stacker anymore because I feel like I've had my fair share of abuse already. So
That's what I would have wanted to ask. Is it easy for you to go back to a build that has like a regular power level then afterwards?
oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like especially because when the league ends, there's always like 2 weeks where you do like race practice, you get your Atlas practice. You go to Bader's website and you're like, okay, maybe there's like an Atlas information that I missed and I need to read and learn. And then like you do some race practice, and so you get used to playing like level 1 to level 63 over and over, and your expectations just like kind of, get lowered like naturally like this. And then new league start, the hype is here. Or
Yeah. Also,
I still miss it.
like for instance, the Blade Vortex Assassin is 6 times as fast as this character.
Yeah,
Herald Stacker.
The thing is, like, it's the tankiness. Like, being tanky in this game just feels so good.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
But I just say again, like, I still want to go to this topic once again. I'm just not entirely sure. Is this topic just not allowed? Because this RMT topic, right?
Yeah.
The RMT topic, why would it not be
I just
allowed?
don't
RMT
think-
is
Yeah,
a very
no,
real problem in the game, but there's
because I
limits to it.
said it drags people to RMT because these builds, as BalorMage already stated, at least minimum 350x, right? When I played the build and people ask me how much do you need to start, I said like I would like if I wouldn't have at least 500x in my stash, I would not start it.
Yeah, but if there's stuff gated behind investment and playtime, then there's always people who are going to try to bypass that with RMT. If you're someone who works a lot abroad or something like that and only has a little bit of time to play, then I understand why there's people who would want to, like, I mean, and there's games where that's legit, so, I understand that the logic can also be brought into PoE without, like, thinking that you hurt other people's gameplay.
It's just the major problem is you're playing mainly hardcore solo Silicon, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'll play the 13th league in softcore trading only. And I can tell you that probably more than 90% of the player base in softcore do not have more than 50 exalts in total in the entire league. 90%, I would assume. So the people
the threshold is really low for being a player in the league.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there is only like a minimum percentage, like probably less than 0.5%, that would technically have the currency to even play a build like that. And when I see the amount of people playing that, I'm really like wondering where all this currency is coming from, And this is a big problem. And I even can talk from my experience. Usually, when I have like super expensive items for sale, talking about Explanabilis, starting price 300, 350x, depending on how he's on the market. Fast as fuck upload a video of his Herald stack with like 150 million shape per DPS on ethereal knives. Like within 1 hour after releasing the video, all Explanabilis were gone. So I knew, well, if I sell mine now, I could probably put it in for like 500 because somebody's probably going to buy it, right? And usually, and I tell you from experience, every time I sell an item that is worth more than 100 exalts, it's usually somebody buying with probably less than 2 or 1 challenge done in this league.
That's crazy.
And I'm just saying, like, this is the main problem when builds like that exist. People getting forced into RMT, and this is a very bad thing to do.
Wait. So, but that's where I disagree. People don't get forced into RMT more than they do already. PoE is a very time-intense game, and like I said, people are going to try and bypass that with RMT, like in every game. Like people buy league accounts, people buy like all kind. Like,
yeah,
it's not
like no one's sitting here saying RMT isn't a problem or that people aren't doing it. All that I'm thinking is, having an aura stacker in the game has nothing to fucking do with that. I can spend 300x on a Spectre build. I can spend 300x on anything. I can spend 300x on any build. And the people who are going to do that, we're going to do it regardless.
Yeah, probably.
No.
You're actually right. But as you mentioned, like you can play like 20 different builds with less than 10 exalt clearing all content, right? And the entrance level of saying like, hey, I'm playing the most expensive build in a game that is, I personally think, the most broken thing still in terms of tankiness and overall construction. As you say, you can stick like 3,000. Like last league, some streamers were actually battling each other with a title. Hey, my aura stacker is 8,000 exalts. My aura stacker is 10,000 exalts, you know? Like, it was like a kind of a battle of streamers, basically, who had the most
trade
expensive
PvP,
aura.
bro.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, it's a bad thing, but yeah.
Yeah, we realize you have very strong feelings about it. We've
I
been
do.
not even talking a single word about harvest so far. which yeah, I mean, do you well, what do you guys think about the harvest mechanic? After we've been talking extensively about the herald stacking problematic from last league, that is, according to Balor, only there with 5% power now, so not problematic anymore. But this league, we also have to see that a lot of other builds are much more available or accessible to people, or in general, builds are more accessible because people can craft their gear very, very easily with this harvest mechanic. Have you guys been using it at all? Have you? How much of your gear is self-crafted, Somayd?
Like 10%.
10%?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Maybe I'm probably not the best person to start this conversation, but
Are you a fan of the crafting mechanic?
okay, so this is gonna be not a long story, but okay, I'm gonna try and like explain how I feel before I about the game in general, before I just give my my opinion about the league like as a whole. So crafting, I think it's fine. Crafting for me is like a mean to an end. I just love blasting. That's the thing. I just like love like, and I think I have a gambling addiction. So I really like just lots of loot. So that's why like Piñata leagues for me, just like that's my favorite. And to me, crafting is kind of like something that I do like after stream when I'm just doing, sorting my dump tabs. And like, oh, I have a base, I have some essences, I have like some fossils. Let's do it. Like crafting on its own to me is not like an activity that I really enjoy partaking in. And also like I feel like the overabundance of items that people just link me day in, day out on the Discord, on Reddit, everywhere. Kind of like it's so procedural that I know it's because I could do it. I play enough and I know the game enough that I could get pretty much any item this league. But just the fact that I know I can get them, I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother. I just like at this point right now, like clearly what I do, what I'm gonna start doing starting tomorrow is just like blasting maps, delegating maps, get tons of loots, sell my seeds, and have like crafting orders. So I have people in my chat, in my community. I'm gonna be like, I need this shield, I need this wand, I need this amulet, and they're like, okay, I'll take it. They give me a price and I'll buy it. I can't stand just standing in my garden and just like spending like 3 hours on a craft of exile and just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I need this craft. I'm gonna do this. It just doesn't work for me as a mechanic, as like a league mechanic. I think it's a great thing that people have access to crafting, like mid-tier items, even great items. It's just like for me, it's not league content. Like that's like general game content. So as a result, like I feel like this league is the same as like last league pretty much, except there's more barrier to do the content that I want to do, which is Delirium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not as frequent.
Yep. That's my take.
That's interesting because I feel like if it wasn't for crafting, I wouldn't still be playing the game.
Oh, I'm it's pretty hard.
So important. It's like the main difficult thing about the game. Not difficult, but like the main, I don't know, intricate or whatever. Like it's the most important part to me. Crafting is the best part of this game.
Like overall, like
even
even like
I still play.
In any league, it's like your favorite part in any league.
Yeah,
always. Okay. It makes sense that this is like your red room, like the best league for you, period. Because okay.
I feel like might have made it a little too easy.
Yeah. Okay. Some items are just disgustingly easy to get.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I feel like as much as I love PoE, I don't play PoE for gameplay. Like that's not. There are so many better games for gameplay that it comes down to intricacies of systems that keep me coming back. and crafting is one of the biggest.
Yeah, that's true.
mbXtreame hasn't said anything, sitting there.
I'm just enjoying your discussion about Harvest. Like, I never use it. Like, Harvest is, I don't know, like, I don't like crafting, right? I don't like any kind of perfect items. I don't like any of that. I want my headhunter, I want to farm in peace, and that's about it. I wasn't really bothered with my garden setup. I was not spending 10 hours to just create a garden layout that has 100% efficiency. I was not like doing any of that. I was never spending like 500 exalts re-rolling crit or something. I like, what would you do that, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you here. I'm with you. Like we're
You almost got me there, but the thing is, I know you don't like Headhunter. You don't find it an interesting item.
Oh, it's my favorite item. No. Okay. So what's my like? I'm on BalorMage's side here, right? I love crafting, right?
Oh, okay.
I have a very big problem OCD wise. Some people that watch my streams or videos, they know what I'm talking about. Like when I'm coloring an item, right? And I've said like, okay, this spell is a blue spell, right? Let's say Stonebrand, right? Then I have a couple of blue support gems, green support gems. So I need to line them up, right? I have like 3 blue support gems. So the first 3 links of the item, if it's a chest, needs to be blue, 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 right? Then I have like 2 green support gems and 1 red. Obviously, red is the lower number than 2. So it has to be blue, 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 then the double green, and in the end, you have the red. Sometimes I spend 3,000 chromatic orbs just to have the right form of a color setup, okay?
Just make them all white.
No. Usually, I'm like very hard to satisfy in terms of itemization, right? My items, item level 86, gilded, like Adam sells much more to vendors, 30%, white sockets. This is the base how I start crafting, right? Normally, I'm super happy when I say, like, I have my triple tier 1 and I just multi-mod away, right? If it's boots for elusive tailwind movement speed, right? I just multi-mod for life, cannot be frozen, whatever. I'm done. It's fine, right? This league, every item is absurd, stupid to get for me, and it kind of kills my inner self. Every item has to be 6 times tier 1, perfectly divined, or it's trash. If there is a tier 2 stat somewhere in my item, I just search my crafter and say like, hey, fix that,
get rid of it,
or just get rid of it. You know, I can post you some items. You know, like what I've crafted this league. I even made my first mirror tier item, and this is actually mirror tier item because it got mirrored 4 times already, which I'm actually proud. But I just say like, it just killed all the magic of items, to be honest. Like, if you like crafting, if you like playing a lot, if you like having currency, and even considering, wait, I could mirror something, I have the currency, right? The league is full of 6 times tier 1 items that is flooding the market, and there is everything there 100,000 times. And this is a big problem. If you now have a 6 times tier 1 item, that would be naturally not even possible to recreate. Like, I've talked to people in Standard when I linked them my items from the league. They said not even with 5,000 exalts you could recraft that, because it would require meta crafting. It would require eternal orbs, if that is something that people probably don't know even. It's a thing of Standard, like saving items and stuff. It just, the whole magic is gone. You know, when somebody posts me a 6 times tier 1 item, I'm like, I hit down my alt key, I see what modifiers are there, fire modifier, cold modifier. Yeah, probably cost maybe 10 or 15 exalts, I can recreate that. Easy going, you know? And usually in every other league, if somebody posts an item with like 5 times tier 1, you're like, holy shit, what is this item, you know? Everybody is going like nuts. You can put this up for mirror service, and you created something that is probably rarer than actually winning the lottery, like talking about weapons with like triple tier 1 physical prefix, you know? And this is still the only thing that is worth mirroring in this league, I would assume, just because you cannot like save these mods, you know? But just as a as a simple example, how would normally crafting look like if you say, I want to have Tailwind Elusive Boots? You have your Hunter Tailwind, you have your Redeemer Elusive, and then you use your Awakener Orb and pray to Chris Wilson or to Samuel L. Jackson, whoever you want to pray to, and hope that it's not going to be absolute garbage. You even consider, wait, this is the second best set, but both of those are suffixes, so I might be able to, suffixes cannot be changed, scour off, multimod, slam once, and I'm done, This league, how you do it? Well, I Awaken Orb this and that together just because I need the base, and then I can just basically like fossil craft movement speed because I just double augment crit. That costs me 1 exalt probably per craft, and I get free elusive tailwind. The only 2 critical modifiers, one is suffix, one is prefix, is 100% guaranteed. So the only thing I need to do is basically chaos spam for movement speed because I can augment the life, I can augment the resistance that I need, I can augment this, I can augment that. And even if one stat is bad, you just hope that it's not intelligence or a stat or mana that you cannot remove. Otherwise, you just throw them together and be like, oh, well, shit, fire resistance. Yeah, I can remove that with remove fire. Cost me 50 chaos, Like, I can remove this, I can remove that. It just, like, every item can be easily saved. There is no, please let this annul hit. Please, I don't want to ruin this, because if I miss this annul, the boots are garbage. I can sell them for maybe 2 exalts or so and get a new base because I have to Awaken Orb together. I have to save my imprints. I have to do this and that, Now it's just like every single item is probably 20x, maybe 30x, and you have a perfect 6 times tier 1 absolute god tier item that wouldn't even exist in standard. And this is something that is just awful. This is just shit, I know.
How long did it take for you to feel that it's awful?
In the start, I didn't even use it that much. I was like one of those guys that landed in G4L just because at level 30 we were in the harvest and said like, yeah, craft physical modifier, and you had like a insane bow for level 30. You're like, what the fuck? I kept this level 30 bow until mapping, I was like, great.
Yeah, the weapon crafting is really nice.
I think like for solo self-found, it might be an insane thing. Harvest should be insanely great because you harvest, you use the league mechanic, and you're hoping, hey, can I get an add remove crit? Can I get an add remove fist? Maybe I can save my weapon. Maybe I can get better items, The way I have it right now, I'm just farming currency because I have a couple of friends. They're like bulk crafters. They have like 10 quad tips full of crafts, And I just prepare the base. I give this item to my friend. I tell him I want tier 1 movement speed, tier 1 crit, I want tier 1 multiplier, I want attack speed. I'll give him the item. 3 hours later, like Somayd, what are you watching there on stream? Sorry. 3 hours later, legit, he comes back to my hideout, perfectly divined. He just tells me, yeah, there was like 46 exalts in materials. I said, like, here, take 50, and the rest is yours, and I have my perfect item. So I personally, I'm not even dealing with harvest anymore. I'm just grinding my currency, farm awakener, do like bait chats, whatever. I just have my people that are just having bulk seats or bulk crafts, and I just pass them the items and say, like, hey, go for it. I need this, 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 and I'll pay that and that for it, and that's it. So, I don't know.
So, I think that it's literally us and the other no-lifers. Streamers and no-lifers are the only ones that are having this problem. Every other person who's got a job for a living and has to leave and only gets to pay 20 hours a week is not wearing perfect items still. It's literally just us.
Or the people who suck at the game like me and die in solo self-found hardcore.
They are
with their crafted
still
gear
not
all
wearing
the time.
perfect items. They're just wearing much more powerful items than they normally get. And they're able to progress further than they normally can. But nowhere near perfect items everywhere. They're not even close. I kind of think it's fantastic because I know there's at least 100 people from just my chat who have, for the first time, managed to finish their Atlas and for the first time managed to kill Cyrus Awaken 8. Despite having played for, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, unable to get this stuff done in the amount of time that they have, unable to get characters powerful enough to do anything with their amount of playtime and knowledge. And now, like, way more than any other league, tons more people are getting to see the actual content. And so all I would really want is to tone down the upper limits so that we can't make the most disgusting things. But God, I really want it to stay in some form for the people who have far less time than we do.
Yep, I agree with this.
Like, it could even be something as simple as just not letting the garden ever roll tier 1 or tier 2 mods. It should be like you could make a perfect tier 3 item. Like something, so I don't know what.
Where would be the difference to old multi-modding then?
It wouldn't, but old multi-modding was never a problem and shouldn't have gone away. The only thing that caused multi-modding to be a problem is that there are mods on the crafting bench that don't exist in the mod pool that you could never get any way other than crafting, and you could stack those, and that's what made it too powerful.
Yeah, or just like the way it was like 3 leagues ago, when you can just like have this one stat multi-mod items, right? You want a good foil, you know, you just like alt spam for dictators, regal it. At least like imprint, regal it, try to null off so you only have dictators, then just multi-mod, flat fizz, percent fizz, attack speed, crit, and you have a 400 DPS foil, easy all content. So this is what they removed. They wanted to make it harder, so you can only craft 2 mods basically, because the multi-mod is already a mod, right? So you have more options. It is harder to actually get your item good, basically. So I think that's the step in the right direction. But for one part, making it harder to craft certain items, just because, for example, with the multi-mod, where I just not like have an item with one stat and just multi-mod away, you now have harvest. And the problem with harvest is also that it kind of makes all other crafting schemes completely unnecessary and stupid. Like, if you follow the fossil prices this league, nobody is actually spamming fossils anymore, because this was the ultimate thing to do to get the entire best items. Then they nerfed the fossils because they were too powerful. There were mods on the fossils that you couldn't get anywhere else. So the only way to do it was to fossil craft. You know, they removed some of that power to, or at least some of the power, actually all of that power, adding the fossil modifiers to the influence types, which I personally like, because then you're not forced to fossil craft the best items in the game. You can still do that, but it's based on the influences now. But with harvest, why do you need fossils anymore?
When you want an explodey chest and you just want to force like lightning as a fizz as lightning and fizz reflect, so you can like easy augment explode. That's pretty much like the only time I've used fossil this league.
Yeah, you see it on the trait. Now you get like 1 exalt for like 450 resonators.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Like, what the fuck? Blighted maps. You know,
Oof.
Blighted map was one of the best incomes for those amount of people that actually enjoyed the Blight maps. You know, there's some of them are out there, usually summoner players. People that are non-stop farming Blighted maps had shit tons of currency because the oils and all the other stuff, right? Check the golden oil price. It's what? 27 chaos for a golden oil that used to be like 1 exalt in average per league, you know? Like, there is only 2 things in this entire game at the moment where you can make shit tons of currency. In Trade League, we're talking about Trade League here, right? Because I don't have this point of view of a hardcore player or a solo self-found player and stuff like that. It's running Labyrinth, because 99% of players hate running Labyrinth anyways. So if you have the right enchant on the right helmet base, you the 50, 60 exalts, maybe even more, you know? Like, if you have a bone helmet, you get like Spectre enchant, it's 100x, dude. Easy clap, you know? Or just non-stop farming seeds. Either farm seeds, sell your crafts, or... yeah, this is basically it. You know, all the other typical strategies of making currency, you know, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. If I just run my maps and just pick up the seeds, and if I even don't want to deal with harvest, I'm just selling the seeds in bulk, I get like shit tons of currency, and I don't even need to do anything else.
I mean, I buy seeds in bulk because I make way more currency by using them.
But you're selling the crafts then, right?
I stopped selling crafts 5 or 6 days ago. I now just craft items to sell.
But yeah, that's like, you bought these seeds just to have the crafts and then sell them on TFT or something, right? Before.
Before, yeah. But then I realized that the people buying crafts from me were also making shitloads of money. And then I was like, well, hang on. If people are buying my crafts and they're using shitloads of getting shitloads of money, then why aren't I doing the end part as well? Why don't I just buy seeds in bulk, because I cannot keep up with the amount of seeds. Like, my garden has...
the problem is that people have no knowledge.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, if they're buying off me and they're making tons of money, then I should cut out that man there, and I should just keep buying in bulk and just make items and sell those.
It's true, yeah.
So
Like,
now I do that.
most of the items that are like, people always think like, hey, I have created this mirror tier item. You know, I don't want to know how many people whisper me every single day, posting me their items and be like, hey, MB, is this mirror tier? And you check it. I mean, yeah, it's 6 times
It's
tier
not.
1, but it's all craftable with harvest. So I would probably say 20x, maybe 25, you know? It's like, and if you have the knowledge, if you say, hey, Craft of Exile is something that is a name for me, right? Or PoE database or something. It's only a small amount of people that actually use those sites. So if you just make the research and be like, okay, how can I craft this item? What can I block? How can I force certain mods? And then you end up paying not 20x for your item, it's like 10x for your item. And then you put it on trade for 50x because it's good, right? And people don't care about it. They're like, hey, I need a belt with like 100 resistance. Oh, there is only one online for 50x. Gotta just have to buy that, I guess. So that's the way you do currency right now, right? You know how it works. You craft this item as cheap as possible, and you sell it for the most profit, actually.
I usually sell it as the cheapest one up to make it move quickly because I don't like stuff sitting in my sell tabs. But also, I knew like an okay amount about crafting, but not a lot. I learned a ridiculously large amount about crafting by selling crafts to people who knew what they were doing. That's something I've been suggesting people start doing if people have got time but not experience, is just start mass farming seeds and just put your seeds up for sale. Not even for the amount of money you make, which is a lot, but because of the experience that you'll get in understanding what items are worth keeping and what aren't, and what might be craftable. And like, I've learned a ton about crafting this league by crafting other people's things.
So how much a day do you spend on average on like TFT? Or at least, because from what I understand, you spend less time now.
When I was selling, I was spending 2 hours off stream to make 50 or 60x.
Okay. Yeah, that's like, to me, honestly, because like right now as it stands, like I've got close to 1 quad tab of like good craft. Like I probably have like 50 to 60 like reforged crit stuff. I got a bunch of like amazing crafts. Right? I pretty much only craft when I have a specific item that I have, and I'm gonna check the crafts and I'll do it. But just the idea that I have to go on TFT to extract the value of my stuff, like really, really, like, it just doesn't work for me. I don't like this. Like,
Reforge does it all automatically. There's the website called I think it's reforge.poe.dev.
Wait, so do you have the price check part? Because I have it installed. But...
No, you have to price check once yourself, but only once. But basically, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's hooked into TFT stuff as well, I believe. But basically, you have to give it your session ID, like we used to have to do with like acquisition and procurement and stuff back in the day. Yeah, you have to give it your session ID, and then you point it at whatever stash tabs you want specifically, and then you tell it to check.
Yeah.
And then it will check, make an itemized list of absolutely every craft that you have, to the point where I know some people in Solo Self-Found who are using it just to organize their crafts to be able to check what they've got without having to look through their stash. And it'll organize everything. You can price everything just the one time, so that, and then it'll just keep that price forever, and it'll automatically generate you a really, really well-organized, well-laid-out Discord message for the TFT server as well. So not only can people buy through the website, but you can do the post.
Hearing you talk right now about the league, like, I think like you guys like seem to like love it and all this, and I can see the power of it now. When I pretty much talked shit, like when I was giving my opinion about the league, I'm also very much aware that there is like some exterior factors as to why I'm not that involved into the league. And so that's why my opinion is like biased, because I haven't really delved into it like you guys did. I just get my character to 100, get another one, did my atlas quickly. I was transitioning from my whatever bad internet I had to like fiber, so I took like breaks. I met somebody as well, and I don't know, when you meet like a girl, you just like, or a love interest, you kind of like lose interest in gaming, at least momentarily. I started working out again, so my interest in the game kind of like dwindled, and I was like, I didn't want to put the effort. And like now I'm kind of like getting back into it, and hearing you guys kind of make me like, okay, I'll fucking do it, and I'm gonna choose this stuff. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to tell my story and look at us games, dude. Right,
Yeah.
into the game.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, no, you should definitely try it out. Maybe do like an SSF run on the side just for the goals. But what I wanted to say is, for me, I like the league. I think it's great. It's great that it's in the game like this. But I also wouldn't mind like if it just goes away and doesn't immediately come back and only comes back in like things that remotely resemble elements of the league, but not like really as this league or as this system. And yeah, I just, the reason is that I think it's great that so many people are getting into crafting, right? I remember I started playing like in 2014, and between then and now we had a league called Pirandas League, where you could collect coins and save up, and then Pirandas would give you bro deals. Kadiro would give you insane bro deals, and I think that was one of the first leagues where like you had like a real power creep. I mean, it was also alongside the lab release, right, where you can get the first 6 ascendancy points, and it was like so many people played low life builds or proper builds for the first time in PoE that it really got them hooked on the game. Like before that, people weren't able to get a shafts or to get a lightning coil or whatever they wanted for their build, and to reach a certain level where the game difficulty plateaus out and you can like stomp through everything. And it's really, really important for a player to reach that sort of point to get really hooked into Path of Exile eventually, right? I think. And so it's great that they're doing these leagues that, at least in one of the many dimensions or axes in which you have PoE difficulty, lowers the entrance barrier, right? So in this case, for crafting items. Of course, it's sad that it, like, for the very invested players, makes things a little bit boring and stale at the very top end. And that's why it shouldn't stay. But I think it's okay for a league because it just gets so many people into the game. And once you reach this sort of power level, the next league, when the systems are away, you're not going to be like, oh shit, now I can't get there anymore. You're going to try and find a way to get back to that power level because you're addicted to the blasting, like you said.
Yep.
So I think it's great for the long-term player base health because it gives people a really, really easy way to success from one side. And like it trivializes one aspect of the game, which is the gearing. And so people can forget about that, more or less, or like enjoy that part without struggling and focus their struggling energy on the other struggles that the game has to offer. And then next league, they can, you know, they learn so much about the other struggles that they can focus on the new struggle.
I mean, from what I understand, like so I feel like recently GGG kind of opened up like their core game, like the marketing, to kind of like lure in like casual-ish players, people who just don't necessarily want to delve deep into like the intricacies and complicated systems and all this. And those people who just joined, like I would say back in 3.0 and still play to this day, but casually, they don't really care about like a challenge, the challenge that a min-maxing a build, you know, like crafting the items, like thinking of a build. They just want to play the content. Like there's a lot of content to be played in PoE. And when most of us started, one of the appeal of PoE was like, you can pretty much like write your own story. You can build any character that you want, and any class, like any build. And so we all went in with this like idea that we're gonna make our own builds, and it's gonna be super fun. The skill tree is like, it's busted, it's so fun. But now I feel like there's enough content in the game for people to just purely come in for gameplay, to experience like those I was talking about. Yeah, because there's somebody in my chat who just linked a big item, and I was like, yo, this guy's got a big dick. And I was like, illustrating.
Oh, you were, okay, yeah.
Every morning you have to carry it around, and yeah.
Oh, nice.
But yeah. So I feel like there's so much gameplay, like so much like content, bosses, and all this to experience that Harvest is like so good for this, because it literally just helps people do gameplay, because crafting, at least like medium level item, is super easy. You don't have to go to TFT. Just like your own seeds are enough to like get good items.
Your own seeds.
You know what I'm actually wondering? You said like before, yeah, well, I'm just gonna get my character level 100 and just play the next one, right?
Yeah.
Watching your clips non-stop, is there any single map that you haven't died yet? I've seen
dude, like, what do you mean? I never actually, no, this is like, okay.
I saw the assassin coming in carrying you the basilisk dude, the Al Hentai.
I mean, this build is trash. This build is like absolute trash. Like this guy is not gonna be level 100. He's gonna be like a
Wait,
0 to
what
100.
is this? You're not playing Blade Vortex.
No, it's like it's Blade Flurry. It's a blade, but it's like the bad one. And no, like this is like this build is like the result. Like this is the result of like me pretty much like not enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm like trying to. It's kind of like a couple is about to divorce and like trying to have a kid, to save the wedding, to save the marriage. And this is the kid is gonna be fucked up. It's gonna be having lots of issues, mommy issues, daddy issues, sibling issues, all sorts of issues. And yeah, so I'm gonna put it to the trash. Except you gotta do this with a kid and play a real build next.
Oh, I did that this league as well. I had Molten Strike.
Wait, throw a kid into the trash?
No,
Okay.
No, I would never do this.
Figuratively speaking, obviously.
But Catmaster was like, yeah, but I've done that. I was like, wait, what? What are you guys doing? But yeah, I think, like, don't you guys think, every time GGG gives something to the players, right? Let's call it Harvest. Let's call it Legion League, Best example, Legion League, right? Exalts everywhere. Like, what are you going to say? Best profitable way to farm the game? Tier 2 Glacier maps, like... whatever, dude. The Tier 2 map, res cap. What is res cap? 3k life, fair enough to do all content, What do I need? Like, Acid Strain Contagion or Val Ice Snowbird or Val Arc, like anything that clears content like one shot, okay? You go in, clear Legion, go out. This you do all the time. At the end of the day, you had like 50 or 100 Exalts, even 1 or 2 Headhunters on your stash, right? What happened afterwards, after Legion League, there was Blight League, right? What I call an experiment. There's like 2 leagues that we have, right? Experimental leagues, and you have Splinter leagues. Splinter leagues, usually super popular among the player base just because loot explosions and whatnot, right? But every time you have an experimental league, the player, retention or whatever, is going down super fast. Like, I think that we already have way lower player base right now than we would have, or that we had like 2 months into Delirium. Delirium was an awesome league. We had loot explosions, we had cool content. This league, we don't have anything, right? Like, we have harvest crafting, right? But does the league actually gives us something new to our characters? It does not, right? Like, Blight gives us anointments. You had the Delirium League with the cluster jewel system, everything new, everything that could make your build potentially even better and stronger. What does Harvest give us besides the 6 times tier 1 items? But these
enchants on weapons and body armors.
That's the thing.
Belts.
Actually, that's the thing. But I didn't thought about that one. But it's actually the only thing that
there's very, very minor things.
Tiny.
Like,
yeah. But what I think is that people are going to cry super hard once this league is done. Like in Blight League, for example, or what is 3.9 Metamorph League, like, people were a little bit upset because Legion League was so drop intense in terms of currency, in terms of items, in terms of everything, right? People are now getting into crafting because this league is all about crafting, getting your coolest items that you have never had before in any other league, right? Next league, if it's not going core, what I assume that it's not going core, at least not in the way it is right now, people will be like, wait a second, I just spent 10, 15 exalts trying to create my boots, and I still don't have my Tailwind Elusive boots. Where is my Augment Crit? Where is all this stuff that made the things happen last league? Everything is gone. People will learn the hard reality of crafting, which is sometimes you get lucky, spam a couple chaos, get an item for 10 exalts, like super profit, and sometimes you're just spending... I remember crafting a leather belt for life. I spent over 2,000 chaos just by chaos spamming, and in the end, I just destroyed the belt because I was just rolling shit all day long, And people will just be kind of upset after this league with crafting. And I think a lot of people will not like this. Like, I'm curious. Every time you have a super big loot explosion league and then afterwards you don't have it, people are complaining. I mean, people are always complaining. Reddit is full of that, That's why I'm never on Reddit. But still, it's like... people always complain if they have or they lose something, like, I don't want to know how many people complained about, oh wait, where's my Herald Stacker is gone, like, and then next league, like, hey, where's all my crafting's gone? Like, what the fuck, GGG, what you're doing, so...
Like, honestly, for once... Sorry, go for it.
No, I'm done.
I feel like for Herald stacking, it was so blatantly busted. I haven't seen anyone being like, oh, why did they nerf this thing? Like, everybody was just,
everyone knew
waiting.
that was going to come.
Yeah, it was coming.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right,
everyone, there were
That's true.
people at the beginning when they like fixed the bug that were letting like things that weren't auras. People got a little upset then, but
Yeah.
anyone that kept playing it and was like, "Oh, it's actually still like proper disgusting."
Dude, I made so much
Like
money.
I haven't seen
when they
this.
nerfed it.
I haven't seen a single person at all be like, they nerfed my Herald stacker. They shouldn't have done that. Like it just doesn't. Everyone's just like, yeah, that's fair.
Like I feel like overall, like in order for lots of people are very like involved, like emotionally, I guess, like into like which league, like, oh, this is a great league, this is my favorite, and like, oh, this league is dog shit, like I hate it. Like people get super involved, whereas I used to be like this like a few years ago, and then I realized something. Like part of the reason why I love PoE and I'm still here like 7-8 years after is because I kind of let GGG drive the wheel. Like they take the wheel, I'll take whatever they give me. Sometimes I'm gonna love a league, sometimes I'm gonna love a league like not as much, but I'm still gonna play the game. And like I just let them like take decision. I'll play whatever they're trying. Sometimes like it's a hit, sometimes not so much. And I know like no matter what, like we're gonna have a good league that's gonna come out at some point. Like an amazing league for me, for my specific tastes. And yeah. I love the fact that lots of people seem to be like enjoying Harvest a lot. People who love Harvest, they love Harvest.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Oh, it's like you have a restaurant and you go there every day and you eat the meal deal, like the I don't know what, the dish of the day. And it's
Yeah.
You it's not always your favorite dish, but it's always like solid food. You're never gonna get nauseous or like fucked up because of it.
Yep.
And you're never gonna, feel like you're ripped off or something like that, robbed of your money. But it's
Still the
always
best game.
solid, and then every once in a while you have something that's really kick ass.
I would just hope that a lot of people would just give leagues a chance. I know a lot of people that started Harvest League, like every other league, and they instantly are like, I'll come back in 3 months, basically, right? They don't want to spend their time. Hey, I need to set up a garden. What is this, a micro game or what? Like, people just don't want to invest their time into certain mechanics. All they want usually is like, I kill this, loot explosion, I'm rich, that's great, But as soon as it gets a little bit more in depth, people are like, dude, no, sorry, I'll not do that.
Like, do you feel like performance might have an impact on this league retention? Because I don't know about you, but for me, I have like a 2-year-old PC, so it's not like top of the line. But performance for me is kind of like, it's exhausting. It's been like really weird this league. Vulcan is not working as well as last league. Like performance has been like a big issue for me this league.
It's become really, really hard to run PoE on a stream, like on the same PC as you're streaming on.
Yeah,
I noticed
I need a
that
second
for a
PC,
lot
yeah.
of people.
Yeah, I'm looking into a second PC
Same.
this league.
My PC is 7 years old. I cannot get Vulcan to run. Like every time I play Vulcan, I don't feel any difference. I just feel like that I get random disconnects all the time. And when I did a lot of Saurus curries in the early league start, I got like random disconnects within the fight, And I was like, as soon as I switched to Vulcan, I never had to disconnect anymore. So that's why I was like, okay, Vulcan seems to be good, but just not for me. It's just not working. I don't know. It seems like it has different impacts on every other player, it seems like. Like some people say it's the best thing ever. Everything is like great. Now everything is like high FPS and whatever, And as soon as I put Vulcan on, I'm like having this problem, that problem. You know what? I'm fine with the old bugs that I had on PoE, but I just hate getting disconnects,
Yeah, I've never experienced disconnect with Vulcan, but loading screens are so long.
But I gotta admit, since I started streaming, I have a laptop, an old laptop where I stream over. So having like this two PC setups, like even I play on a PC that's 7 years old nowadays.
Okay, yeah.
It helps tremendously. It is really insane. I can just do whatever I want on my PC and the stream will be fine.
I don't know what it is with like Vulcan or PoE in general in the last year or two, but they've just managed to find a way to take all the resources that a PC has to offer and to just suck them up for PoE. Like seriously, people are telling me they cannot even play the game and watch my stream in the background if I don't have quality options, right? Like they need to put the stream in 360p in order to properly play without like the PC lagging. And for streamers, that's a massive problem. I've seen a lot of people like like Lily, Titanic Killer, a lot of people had performance issues with their setups since they made these changes, because they're streaming from the same PC as the game is running, and the game is grabbing all the resources, so there's nothing left for OBS. So
I think it's just like when I talk to people that do know some kind of like coding and stuff, you know, they always say like PoE is very poorly coded, and you could have a PC directly from NASA itself, you know, you would still have FPS drops in this game, although you would be able to play Far Cry on 4K without issues. But if you have the same PC and go to PoE and then put up the settings, you're just gonna lag out, you know, especially when you play things like Volatile Dead, Spellslinger on the Necromancer, where you spawn like bazillion projectiles, everything explodes, you know, you always have that. And it's the same like once you play like, that's why I said like Delirium was questionable because of this smoke thing, right? It wasn't too bad, but nowadays, if you play a full Delirium map, you're gonna have insane FPS drops, no matter what PC you have, basically. But I think the main problem is still the loot system. It's just too much loot dropping, and everything needs to be rendered and shadowed and whatever, you know. I think that's the thing that causes actually all the troubles, the amount of loot that is generated in the background.
Absolutely, yeah, Chris Wilson talked about that. Sorry, I'll just finish the sentence. On the Bay Class podcast, that it's just every single item is being dropped to the ground actually and rendered with a shadow. So yeah, if they just cut that 90% of loot that's unnecessary away, like they discussed, I mean that's probably a great moment to go into that. But first, Somayd, what did you want to say?
I actually don't remember at all. Oh, but yeah, but pretty much like also like Chris Wilson said, I think on Bayclass that each item pretty much sends information to the servers like 30 times a second to give like its position and like status or whatever. So I guess like even for them, it's going to be a drastic improvement to just reduce the amount of white shit item. I was going to say like white trash, but it's not fair. White bad items, let's say.
Yeah. Welcome in 2020, dude. You have to pay attention to everything what you say, because everything can be held against you in whatever regard.
Yeah, I just don't want to hurt anybody, right? I don't want to say something that makes somebody feel bad. Like I don't care about like being canceled or anything. Being canceled, like if you don't give a shit, like nobody's gonna cancel you if you don't care. Like, but yeah,
I got canceled 5 years ago, but I just didn't care about it, so I just kept on going.
The court law.
Maybe to round up the harvest topic, so you're not interacting with the garden at all, Somayd? You're not.
Me? I do. I do. Like
you plant seeds and you do things, or
yeah, I plant seeds because like it's hella map returns. Like it is really good, and also like
really huge extra juice for your.
I mean, when I say I don't craft, like I crafted like a bunch of really good like BV helmets with like -9 maximum power charge and like seal T1 life, T1 kill strikes. Like I've done a bunch of good craft, like Tawin Elusive, 35 ms. Like I've done this. Just like I'm not at the point where I'm doing like 6 T1s like MB, for example, because even though I have the seeds, I have the craft, and I know how to do it, I just can't be bothered. But I do engage with the garden a lot. Like I've got the 99.5% efficiency thing.
Okay, no, because in the beginning when you talked about it, it sounded pretty much like you ignored the garden and you just let people do it for you.
It's like this is pack size. Like when you have Delirium, 100% Del map, you get a full garden. It's great. Like I love it.
Yeah, Delirium in the garden is insane. That's the forest just completely stops and you can do whatever you want for half an hour.
It's just the next step where like to extract the value of like this PvE aspect, which is like killing like planting and killing monsters, like extract the value, which is the part that people seem to be enjoying the most, transforming like this into like great items or just like raw currency that you sell to crafters. This part, like I can be bothered. So like the things like honestly, like sharing this podcast with you is kind of changing my take on it. Like I'm going to play right after the podcast. I'm going to be playing and I'll be like maybe optimizing my garden and stuff like this and list my craft and all this. But yeah.
Sounds good.
Like I have the exact opposite thing. I know that the items that I want to craft, I will never have the option to self-sustain that because I'm not buying seeds, right? Every time I'm finding seeds, I have to like play 10 maps to gather up some seeds so I can can fill up my collectors like 3 or 4 times, because when you have like 3 collectors of each color, you buy like 5,000 seeds within one, like say 3 hours of mapping. all the 5,000 are gone. You have never the option to sustain the amount of seeds that you drop, right? So basically for me, it is like, well, I want to have T1 on this one. That probably takes 20, 30 rerolls in add remove defense, right? Or even more. I'll never be able to get that stock, you know? So I leave the crafting part to those people that are having entire guilds full of craftings, you know? They have like seriously 10 quad tabs of crafting stuff, you know? And I'm treating it more like solo self-out, you know? I'll just farm the seeds that I find, grow the seeds that I find. I'm like not buying seeds, and I'm not like selling my crafts, you know? But I can certainly guarantee you, with the amount of crafts that I need for my items, I'm not interested in harvest at all, you know? I know how it works and everything, but as soon as I will get all my challenges done, because I'm like a challenge hunter, like I make like 40 or 40 every single league. As soon as I'm done with all the challenges from harvest, from the garden, I can swear I'm just gonna buy seeds, and every time I have like 2,000 seeds laying around, I'm just gonna sell them in bulk and just not worry about my garden at all anymore, because it's just
Okay.
in solo self-hunt would be something different though.
Yeah, totally. For me in solo self-hunt, like I'm still at the point, and that's maybe I'm not the fastest player, but like you really get, like you said, you don't get that many crafts, like if you don't trade for them. And you sounded to me like you can't, pretty much like Somayd, you can't be bothered with like making the perfect item because it's too obvious and it's too much engaging with the trading and stuff.
It does it. Like, he linked me his items earlier. Everything was like perfect up to like the divine. Like, it was 61, perfectly divine everything. It's because like you spend time like trading, which I don't do. Like, I want to keep SSF and not, you know, sell craft and buy craft. So that's why it's taking a long time for me, and it's hard for me to get into it.
Well, I have the massive advantage, probably because I'm a streamer. I met somebody that is doing crafting for a living. He's like super enjoying this league. He doesn't care grinding, like crafting 10 hours in the Sacred Grove, you know?
Okay, I see.
He does know so many people that also do this, treat it the same way, you know? I'm not going to say any names, but because it's my crafter, you know? Like, go get your own crafter, you know? But I trust this person, and he trusts me. And the good thing is, how did I fucking die here? Never mind. The good thing is, man. that was my first death, dude. I swear. Hardcore solo self-hunt until this point. This guy just one-shot me with like 12,000 energy shields. I was like sad at this point. What I was talking is, I'm just preparing the base. You know, I write down, okay, I need energy shield, defense modifier. I need ally damage with attacks, is an attack modifier, right? I need essence crafted, for example, my ring. I cannot harvest that, so this is how I start. I buy the base, I start essence crafting until I get to a spot where I say like, we can remove lightning, we can remove attack, and then we can start over again. And once this item is like ready to craft, basically, right? I'll pass the item over to my friend. He has like 100 add remove defense. He has 200 add remove chaos, whatever, right? He has everything on bulk, and he's just doing the job for me, right?
So it's not that different from what I'm gonna do. Like having like item orders, pretty much. Like, I need this, I want this.
Yeah, exactly. I just write him a list on Discord. Hey, I want to have these and that stats on my items, and he's taking care of it, you know.
So
it sounds like you're skipping the most fun part of the league.
I do, just because I know I will never be able to get what I want to have in my solo self-hunt way that I'm treating leagues usually. I will never be able to bulk up 200 add remove defense just to get this tier 1 life mod on it, or a tier 1 energy shield mod it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And when I know it's 100% out of my reach, you know what? I'll just pass the item over, and I just keep on grinding, you know, like Somayd does. Like, just permanently spam maps, spam delirium maps, kill awakeners, do carries, do whatever, do something productive, farm delve, whatever. And like in 3 hours later, my mate whispers me, hey, oh, your item is done, cost me 47x. And I say like, yeah, hey, take 60x thanks for the crafts, basically, and I have my item done. You know, that is like the problem.
It's also cool that it enables you to interact with your community like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a nice way for people to interact with the streamer.
I also think it's like really nice the fact that like you can kind of choose the way you're gonna play the game, and if you're like craft centric, you can still like make money for people like MB and I, right? I like the fact that everybody has different tastes and can like play according to those tastes.
I just think if I wouldn't be a streamer, nobody would give a fuck, you know. And some people
Well,
just craft
true.
for me just because they want to be on stream, or just hey, MB, I'm like big fan of yours. I'm done with the league. I have like 10 ad remove crit. You can have those for free. It's like 1 exalt per craft, you know. It's like you get, as a streamer, you obviously get a lot of advantages in this regard. So it's you just have to be like, no, I don't want to. I want to earn my stuff, you know.
No.
And the guy that is crafting for me offered me so many crafts for free because he said like, yeah, whatever. I have like 1,000 crafts, you know, and actually I have like 10 mirrors on stash. I don't need anything. You can have all for free. And I said like, either you let me pay for this stuff like every other guy, or I'm searching another crafter, you know. I don't want to have handouts like this, you know. It just doesn't feel right, you know. But it just, I personally, just to finish the harvest topic for myself, basically, I just think like I hope it's not going core. It's way too overpowered. If you play it the way that I do, I would say for the majority of player base, it's a really good thing, and it's especially very, very good if you're playing solo self, because then, as you say on the Herald Stacker, for example, or Aura Stacker, you feel the character growing with every single craft, and Harvest does actually give you that opportunity to get really good items, even in solo self-found. But for Trade League, it's absolute nightmare, to be honest.
I think there's an actual wasp in here. I don't know why, because it's like past midnight, but I have no idea where it's from. But like,
It came in during the day. Yeah.
No, like I didn't notice it during the day.
Wasp,
like,
man.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked, dude. I'm scared.
I had this happen with a hornet like 2 weeks ago. Like
You
I was
allergic?
sleeping. Dude, I was sleeping. It was like 2 a.m. and I started falling asleep, and all of a sudden I hear like a. I'm like, holy shit! And so I just get up, and he was like an absolute fucking hornet. He was just like pounding against the door and trying to get in.
Open the window. But yeah, keep talking, please.
Yeah, windows are. It's scary. Like if you get close, you can die, man. I think my dad is like allergic to hornets or like whatever they have, so I don't want to die, man. I got too many people to play.
Unless you're allergic to them, they just hurt a bit. They're not that bad.
I don't even want to try. Like it's like some people like they go out without a mask and they're like, "Yo, it's just a cold. I don't care if I get the Rona." Like I don't even want to take a risk. I don't want to go through the. I don't want to get hurt. I'm squishy IRL, and I don't want to get
IRL.
They don't.
I'm like, yeah.
They just sting a bit. If you're allergic to them, it's a big problem. But if you're not allergic to them, they just sting for a little bit. It's fine.
And my dad got like stung once, and he had to be rushed to the emergency. He was like unconscious and all this, so I don't want to risk it. Like maybe just passed over or something in the genes or something. I don't know.
It's like weird. What do you guys say on the current clip here? My MTX.
What?
I like what you have on your head.
I actually paid money to remove MTX.
Wait, the IRL MTX or the in-game?
No, the in-game one.
It's very cool.
The worst MTX ever is this weird blight helmet. We're gonna agree on that probably.
Oh,
this
the Essence wings, dude. The Essence wings.
Dude, when I saw that blight helmet even announced, I was like, what the fuck is that thing?
Like on my Heralds and the Aura Stacker, right? I bought 11 times remove aura effect. Because I didn't want to glow like a freaking carnival thing, you know? So I just bought 11 of this invisible aura effect and just...
Oil prints here.
You actually get performance out of doing that, like a lot.
Yeah, you
Wait,
do.
Really? Like noticeable difference?
Yeah, like if you make heralds and auras invisible, you get a huge increase in...
I swear with this MTX on, right? Just with the bouncing ball on my face, you know? And just invisible everything else, I had at least 10 FPS more in the average gameplay.
This is ridiculous.
It is, but it's a thing.
Yo, any oil prints in the chat? I take donations. I want to buy it.
It's actually pay to win.
Yeah, it is actually pay to win though. Like if you can afford to make all of your auras invisible, it'll be better.
I noticed that I think it's a problem with particles. Because in some, you know, like in the past mystery boxes, you usually have this hideout decoration where it's like and like dust flying through your hideout, for example, right? Every time I go in a hideout where there's like particles like that, I have like 15 FPS or so. it's like a big problem with particles, I think, in general, in MTXs, in auras, and so on. Like sometimes a good example is the Void Emperor aura set. There's like a big aura effect, like the Void Emperor stuff. When I zoom in on the Void Emperor set, I'm dropping down to like less than 10 FPS.
Oh, I have a similar thing with the Breach Lord portal. Breach Lord portal in my hideout, dude. With all the hands and the flames and everything, this huge, and it drops my FPS super hard. I noticed that when I was recording videos in my hideout with certain builds, that all of a sudden I got super choppy recordings, and I was like, "What is that?"
Wait, is that it? Because like I keep lagging in my hideout. I don't know why.
Like using the Breach Lord portal or what?
I'm using the Perandus one right now. It was like all the coins just dripping and all this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Could definitely help to not use it. Use the standard one.
I just feel like I need a new PC at this point, like a streaming PC. I'll use this current one for streaming, and I'll get
that's exactly what I did as well when I got the new PC. Well, for a while I was just using single PC setup with the new PC, and then I was like, wait, why did I not even think about streaming?
I've still got this one. What am I doing?
Yeah, my old one is kind of cooked though. I don't know.
It is actually, like, I can tell you from experience, this dual stream setup is just insanely great. Even if you get a blue screen on your main PC,
exactly. You always
even if you get a blue screen,
up.
you know, you just restart your PC, your stream is still running, your webcam, like your microphone, like everything attached to my notebook that is doing the streaming job. You know, I can do whatever I want.
Even the music is still running because the music is running from my streaming PC.
That's actually great. I need to set this up. And so how much is like a video card, like video capture card? I assume you have to use one.
No, you don't. There is a tool that's called NDI. And this is for free. You just download NDI, install it on your PC, install it on your notebook. Then there is an NDI plugin for OBS. And all you do is then import source. And then it says like, you know, where it says like at webcam, at video, whatever.
Yeah, you can basically send back and forth like image and video stream data between two OBSs running on two different PCs in the same network.
Oh yeah, like the WebSocket thing.
Kind of.
Just like, basically, it's just like your main PC is putting the image of the monitor into the network, and the OBS system on your notebook, which is a streaming notebook, is just saying like, import NDI source, and just picks that up and puts it in, and that's it, you know? The capture card is something you would need to use in like PlayStation or whatever.
Okay.
But for PC,
maybe I'll try actually this week then.
You just need to download the software, it's free.
I'll try it. Like, hey, you guys want to see my like my old gamer PC? It's disgusting. It's really bad. You guys like dust? If you can see it.
Not really.
Look at this. So many hours of PoE played with this garbage.
It's probably still better than my PC. Generation 4 Intel.
This is gonna become my streaming PC. Wait, did you guys see my crack? No. What happened?
Silence.
So because we talked a little bit about performance problems being partially also due to the extreme amount of items that need to be rendered, and the item bloat generally that we had in Path of Exile over the last couple of years, also probably aided by the introduction of loot filters, where people were able to filter out things more and more, and then the loot drops were less and less rewarding, so GGG had to add more and more loot drops, and people were filtering out more and more, and it's like this ongoing battle back and forth, and now we have like 10,000 items dropping, and no one can actually press the highlight key in the map without crashing anymore. Well, at least not in party play and in super juiced maps. Chris Wilson recently was on another podcast called Bayclast, hosted by the wonderful Cat, and talked a little bit about things. And among the things that were talked about was a potentially soon upcoming system in Path of Exile that would turn item quantity into sort of luckiness of item drops, where instead of dropping 10 helmets, the game would roll 10 helmets and then drop only one of them, which is like the one that it assumes is the best one based on the rolls. So yeah, without going too much into my confusing explanation. What do you guys think about that? You think that's potentially something that's gonna help the game, or do you see problems with it?
Okay, I'll start.
Please.
So I think what's important is like overall is performance. So whatever helps reach this goal. So less rendering, less shadows, fewer shadows. It's okay. Now I guess it poses a problem with like certain situations, like SSF mostly, I assume. So and also alterations, because the fact that sometimes you get like a truckload of items, you get a lot of alts, right? And alts is kind of like the core crafting tool.
Ah, come on.
But overall, I'm 99.99999% for this. I think it's really good. And I don't like.
They
We need
said
this.
about alts on Bay class when they mentioned it, and I thought it was the dumbest argument. Because we're not
why?
because we're not picking up all of that loot anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Who
can
takes
fill your
more than
inventory
one inventory
19
out of a map?
times in a map.
There's
If I can now only fill my inventory
I don't
3
think
times, I'm still going to leave with the same amount of alts.
Yeah, I guess like it's mostly for rares. I don't think rares should like necessarily be like too impacted, at least like early on, because I don't like. Sometimes it's just like I just like alts. Sometimes it gets pretty expensive. It depends, right? It's pretty easy to just like see your experience and like being like everybody who doesn't do this is an idiot, or it's very easy like to kind of fall into this trap. But lots of people love picking up items and like they refuse to do their map if they don't have an inventory full of items.
Yeah, but no one's going back in all 6 times every map.
There's probably a few, but like yeah, this is probably very low. I don't do it. Like I don't pick up any
Because
rares.
right now, I could fill up 25 portals worth every map.
Oh yeah,
That wouldn't be an issue at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That would be
it's
easy.
ridiculous. But I feel
And
like might as well
so-
just like maybe like cut the number of bases. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, bases
because it
were
can be
a
like
thing that
that.
was brought up.
Like, because it can be like that, if it's like 25 times the amount of items that you should be bringing out of a map, if you cut that, to 10% of the amount, you've still got more items than you can
Oh
bring
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, it's
Like,
needed.
it's not
The
going to be
change
an
is needed.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your chaos recipe though. Havoc is gonna be unhappy with this change. It min-max the the chaos recipe.
Havoc is going to be unhappy when Beyond disappears.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was gonna
boy.
say
Oh,
that's
boy.
not the change that Havoc is the
Oh,
most
boy.
unhappy about.
The thing is, what I really have a big problem, because I was watching this entire big class, it's not like you probably recognized already that realized that I'm pretty negative about almost everything, right? Just because I love this game so much, right? And I usually always see the bad sides of things just to, I don't know, it's just the way I see it, right? And when I see Bayclast, I see Sigurd as, I would say, not to offend anybody, right? As a casual player in PoE nowadays, because like there is a lot of streamers, they go like 3 months non-stop, I see Sigurd sometimes streaming, like 2-3 weeks or so. And then you have a bunch of hardcore players or solo self-fund players or hardcore solo self-fund players. And the problem is they were talking about the aspect of solo self-fund in most cases, I would have wished that there is at least somebody in the Bay class that is playing softcore trade league to have another view on it, rather than saying like, what, let's just merge 5 hardcore players together and see what the result is. I think the main problem is they were talking like half an hour of the reason or the thing of identifying scrolls and rare items, and also the pickup that we are just talking about, like, should you pick up every single item? Should you identify those, right? The thing is, how
Meanwhile,
often...
I don't have rares on my filter, like at all.
Exactly. How often, as a softcore player, do you actually pick up rare items? I would say the only time when you pick up rare items, if your loot filter shows it, is if it's the right item level and the right base, like item level 86 Elder Astral Plate, because that sells for a lot. Like, if it's not harvesting. But usually that item sells, and you only pick those up. You never pick up rare items because you think, like, those boots are going to be insane. because they are not double influence. They probably not gonna roll tailwind because they're item level 85 or so, right? You never do that, because if you would pick up, like, let's say 1,000 boots, you have a chance to have one pair that is sellable, that is good, you know? But the time it takes to identify and check 1,000 boots, I could run 10 hours of pure mapping, find a couple exalts. I'm going to have more currency in the end than picking up the items. So picking up items, rare item especially, is something you do in solo self-fund, because you need to find your own upgrades. You need to craft your own upgrades. Nobody's going to help you there. Even if you find a mirror, what you're going to do with it, you know? So in the softcore trade aspect of the league, every item is trash, unless it's an exalt drop, a chaos drop, or anything like that. Because I just need the items that are valuable, and that's what I pick up. And that's usually, if like this in this state of the league, it's not even worth to pick up 6 sockets anymore, because just calculating 6 jewelers is like 0.1 chaos orb pretty much, right? So it's just not worth the 6 spots in my inventory. And
So this is called
the efficiency of mapping, right? You never pick those up. So why talking about, is it necessary to identify 100 rare items per map, right? If it's completely irrelevant in any kind of trade league, which is probably 80% of the player base.
Here's the thing, though. The change that Chris was describing has a chance, if it's done right, of making us maybe want to pick up more items. Maybe just uninfluenced tier 1 bases will show through my filter and I'll pick them up.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
The idea is that instead of picking up, if the idea is like, if there's a sorcerer boot on the ground and I pick them up, it'll actually be the best pair of sorcerer boot out of 10 or 20 possible that could have rolled, then I'm going to be far more likely to want to pick them up. They're going to last on my filter a lot longer.
Yeah, like with the Bloodlines mods where they all drop the same base as a rare item, when you get a good base there, like often I find myself, like even when I played Trade League, I think picking them all up. Because it was like, yeah, it could be one good one.
Yeah, but this is the solo cell phone person in you.
I wasn't playing solo cell phone.
We wouldn't
at the
even
time.
see them here.
Yeah, but you play it most of the time.
No, what I'm trying to say is the underlying logic is picking up 10 of the same base and picking out the best one of them, right?
Yeah,
that's why like I was
to
like
do that in just one item will make it
yeah,
worth
exactly.
it.
Not having to do it and it just getting like, obviously it's gonna be, it would be great and I would love that very much. Like the question is just how much better are the items gonna be? How much more often are they gonna be rolled, and will it be noticeable for the average player? Like will it? Yeah.
The problem is that mods, especially the best mods, are based on item level, right? Like, I think tier 1 movement speed is item level 86, I think. The 35%.
Some mods certainly are 86.
Yeah. That means if I pick up boots, good boots do have at least 30% movement speed. That means that every boot that is probably possible to drop in white tier maps and yellow tier maps are trash anyways. They cannot even roll tier 1 movement speed. So why bothering picking those up anyways? Because they're not going to sell for a lot too.
Tier 1. No one needs
of
tier 1.
course.
We want tier 1 because we're playing 14 hours a day. There are tons of people running around with 20-25% movement speed boots that are super happy about it.
All right, another
That's just it's just an us thing.
Okay, another point. Chris said it's risky to apply that because in overall there will be less loot. And if there is less loot, people are going to complain. Doesn't matter if they pick it up or not. They want to kill a pack and there's like,
that's why it would be great
items.
to introduce something like that with a big patch or even with PoE 2.
Like, I would just wish that the game gets even harder than it is right now. And this also includes getting even harder items to craft or pick up or whatever. Like, but this is just me as somebody that has the way, or at least like that has the option or whatever you're gonna call it, to play 15 hours a day, But I just still gotta admit, Path of Exile is not a game for complete casuals. This is something I always say in stream too. When people that know me from like my old videos like 10 years ago from World of Warcraft, they are like, yeah, I've been following your YouTube since quite a while and you're playing Path of Exile. Is it worth playing? And the first thing I'm asked, like, how much time do you have to play video games. And if he says like, yeah, maybe an hour, maybe 2 per day, then I'm like, probably you're better off playing Diablo rather than Path of Exile, because like I think like if you have 1,000 hours in Path of Exile, you're pretty much done with the tutorial. Like, prove me wrong. Like, even I have now 8,000 hours, and I'm playing like a madman, and still I'm learning new things every single day. Like, this game is just way, 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 way too complex for.
It hurts because we can teach people. You don't want to send them away. I take new people who have only got an hour or two, and are like, "This is my first league. What should I do?" And then we give them guides and we help them, and then they end up in the end game and they like it, and they come back next league and they do better.
Yeah, they whisper you all your items, and it's like, "A and B, I found this. Is this good?" I was like, I don't know. I don't enjoy this, to be honest.
That's
like I really like I'm making guides for everything, you know. Like, seriously, my YouTube is full of guides for everything: crafting, league mechanics, whatever, you know. But like, people that whisper me in game for questions, I don't know. This is this thing that actually wants me to stop playing or streaming.
It makes you want to stop
Twitter
playing.
DMs and
yeah, it is.
People message me on Discord.
4 a.m.
Yeah, like for all sorts of things and new questions, and I answer all of them, and I love it.
Yeah, sometimes
this is the thing I like. Man. This is the thing I like the most about streaming. I encourage people to message me. Usually on Discord though, because that's like the only one I check regularly. But like that's my favorite part.
Are you 100% honest now?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to rate you now. From now on, I'm going to rate you like 3 times a week. You can have all these questions answered. Then I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, send it at me. Let's go. I'll answer all of the questions.
It's don't get me wrong. I really love to help, you know. But I think it's just the problem that I got over the past, like, let's say 1 year, that I grew massively in terms of viewership and everything, right? And answering like 10, 15, maybe 20 questions about the same thing over and over again, at some point it's okay, you know. But if it continues and then you get like 100 times the same question a day, you just think like, can I just please play the game and just leave me alone for half an hour? Like, this is like the worst thing ever.
For me, I always see it as like free market research, and like I get an idea of what people struggle with and what they need to know, and then I make a video about it, or at least I put it on my list of videos to make. Eventually, I'll have videos on everything, and when people come with a question, I'm like, I got a video about that. Just click the link in chat.
Yes.
You have no idea how many times the answer to a question is a chat command in my stream. It's like there's either a written guide or there's a video or there's something that goes over this in depth. I swear it must be like 8-9 times an hour. I'm like, yeah, I can answer that. Here's a full in-depth thing for this. Right? Like that's just a thing.
Amazing.
Like for me, the thing is like being contacted in private, it feels like I do answer a lot of questions, but like last league, for example, is like when I really like understood the importance of like maybe setting some limits, because I got very early on the EK build to the point where like in the span of like 10 days, my Discord grew like 2,000 members, and it was like every time I would like turn my head for like an hour, I would have like 500 messages, and it was really, really active. And like I had to block my DMs on Discord because I would receive, like, no joke, over 100 conversation, like messages of like questions that were answered already in the guide and in the POB and in the notes and in various comments, like some dumb stuff. And it turns out like they just forgot to anoint like the amulet or stuff like this. And this thing means like it feels like you can never rest. Like already when you play a lot, like you can pretty much never rest. But like when people start contacting you like for stuff that is easily you can Google easily, like I don't know, it feels like it drains you and it makes you feel like super depressed. At least for me. Like I was done. I loved it. I loved the attention. I loved the fact that I could help people, but at some point like my mental health was just taking a nosedive, and it kind of makes you like not cool, because you kind of get resentful a little bit, and so then you treat people who come to you was like they have like they're cool, like they're just chilling, they just have a question, they don't know that you're overbooked, and then like you're kind of a bitch with them, which I hate. So
I don't have a problem leaving people on unread.
yeah, that's the thing. I kind of do. Like I kind of feel like
So
I
I
have
Me
can
neither.
just
Me
I
neither.
can just not check Discord for the next 4 hours because
Oh, yeah, I can
I'm
do that.
doing real life
I
stuff or
cannot
I'm
do
watching
that.
TV or whatever. Like I can just not look. And like even if I do notice that there's 7 things there, I just won't do anything about it. I'll just continue on about my life until I'm ready to interact with people.
No, I can't. I
And then-
cannot do that. No chance. If I hear this ping first thing, Discord. Oh,
Yeah.
ping. What is it? You know,
Like sometimes you forget, but like sometimes like you know, especially when you wake up, like when you get woken up by like a message, and you're like, let's see what the message that I got this morning on my phone, and then I just forget about it because I was just like super sleepy. But most of the time, like I'm always like reachable. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, like always I'll be answering messages, and I found
I
like
think-
good friends like this. But
Yeah, but for example, what I hate the most about this whole streaming thing, right, is when I'm offline, I'm not offline, right? If I now log off and go to a new character, I'm pretty sure I have probably 1,000 people that have me on the friend list, right? And if I create a new character and call it whatever, I cannot even kill Hillock before I get spam
Yep.
whispered like at least 10, 15 people. What is the new build is going to be, right?
Yep.
Is there a path of building? Is this build be able to kill Shaper, you know? Like, can this build deep delve? Can you reach 1,000 delve, you know? And I'm at this point, I just killed Hillock, I turned into Act 2, and then I'm like, escape and go offline. Sometimes I really think I want to make a second account
I have this, dude.
just to play the game without getting whispers. This is like one of the things that
Slash D&D.
I cannot because of
Big
trades.
dude.
That's a problem, dude. You can't. I don't understand. We have loot filters. We can fully customize everything, right? Why can we not make a chat filter where I say like trade requests, yes, chat requests, no? You know, like that would be super great.
And before they did, everyone just trade requests you with the message in the offer.
No, I'm not. I don't really want to buy it. I just wanted to know. Do you feel okay? Like, you were kind of sad today on stream. I'm sorry I don't want to buy your item. I'm just like worried about you, mate. Dude, I've had some pretty. The thing is, like, also like sometimes like people kind of use like PoE question as a way to kind of like get close to you. And like I've had situations like honestly, I think on average, like once every 2 weeks, and it's okay. This is very important. Once every 2 weeks, I have a. I'm gonna commit like emergency every 2 weeks on average. I have somebody who just like they need help like now, and like I'm not gonna just send them a fucking number, right? So like you kind of have to put boundaries because like this is like emotionally draining. Like this happens like a lot to me.
Yeah.
And so, and most of the time, it just starts with like, yeah, do you have a POV for this build that you played? And like 2 days later, it's gonna be, you know, like people are emotionally attached to you and just like they go hard. So at some point, you have like to kind of ask yourself, like, is it worth like just like to take everybody's fucking pain and suffering and just like put it onto yourself? And you know, it's kind of deviating from the topic, but
And it actually made me stop streaming for some time.
yeah,
Because when I'm like starting to stream and I'm streaming like 2 hours or so, and people are like, I remember this one day, it was like a week ago or so. I was just saying like, you know what, today we make a chill stream, we just level up, you know, a new character, whatever. And I was hitting Act 2, and I said like, guys, I'm sorry, I just cannot do that, you know. I stopped streaming, and then I kept playing another 15 hours or so, got this character to mapping and whatnot. It like someone says, like if you cannot ignore it,
yeah.
then it's just draining you out. Like I don't know, like it's insane. Actually, I always tell myself just ignore it, you know. But you can't. It's
You have the guilt. It's like it's there. It's just like
the same with comments. Like you have 100 comments.
I don't
One
read
of-
fucking comments, dude.
One of them is negative, and this like swirls in your head. And with like instead of thinking like, dude, 99% of people are saying your video is good. This one guy says it's bad, and you're like, why is it bad? What could I have done better? You know, this one comment, dude. I don't know. I'm probably just
None
bad
of this
streamer, I
bothers
guess.
me. The negative comments are literally my favorite. I absolutely love it when my existence has upset somebody so much that they have to take their own time to post about it. Are you kidding me? That's fantastic.
Dude, you need to teach me that way, dude. I
Yeah,
don't know.
same.
Please teach me.
You are somehow so important in somebody's life that they hate you enough to take their own personal limited time to spend that time writing messages to you. That's how upset they are. And if they're that upset, they're that invested. And if they're that invested in you, you win.
Yeah,
Because
but it
I'll
just
tell
it's
you what,
draining. It's
I
draining.
don't know who that guy is. But he knows who I am.
I guess it depends like how you
I
like
think
how you feel. Yeah.
Pretty much, I think it's just the same mindset that I have, but I cannot do it. I always tell myself, fuck this, like, who cares, dude? And if this one guy is trolling, I just ban him or time out him for 24 hours, like, whatever, like. But it just bothers me so hard. I don't know. I'm just maybe just a bad streamer. Maybe I should just stop streaming and just continue YouTubing and that's it. So I don't have to deal with it.
Isn't YouTube
But yeah.
worse? I thought YouTube was the worst.
Dude, YouTube literally the few times I post a video there, I just read the first few comments, which was just like people from my Discord or like fans, and then I just never read the comments ever again. It's like it's just muted on my email. I never know when I have a comment. I don't care. The video is done. I just bye. I'm out.
I leave comments on for 1 week and I read and reply to everything that's appropriate to reply to for the whole week after posting every video.
I think it's just about size, to be honest. Because, like, if I open my YouTube, I have over 5,000 or 6,000 notifications.
Dude.
It's like I'm like the third biggest PoE YouTuber right now with 103,000 subscribers. And the amount of comments that I get every single day.
Congrats on the 100,000.
Yeah, 100K, man.
Thanks. But I think it's about size. If you say like you get probably like, I don't know, like 10 messages, 10 comments per day, and you leave them on for like a week, that's totally fine, But if you get like probably when I upload a video like every 2 days, I have like maybe 200 comments per day. It's just no freaking way you can pull it off.
If I get to that size, it'll become a schedule thing. It'll become I've got half an hour every morning to read through comments, and I'll do my best to get
That's
through
not
as many
enough.
as I can in half an hour.
That is not enough. I tell you.
Yeah, well then whatever's left would get left, but I would still go out of my way every single day to try and get through as many as possible.
I did that too. But I would just
get limited to half an hour. It would be half an hour in the morning. You get to look at those, and I will get through as many of them as I can.
That's why
I don't know
I think
about to be honest. I don't know.
I think it's just a size thing. If you say like, I have like 10 comments a day, like I haven't read comments in like 3 days. Let's just do the 30, 40 comments. It's like done in like 20 minutes or so. But if it's like 100 every day, and then you're like doing nothing for a week, and then you open your notifications and you see like 900 something. It's 2 days of permanently reading and answering comments with skipping streams, and then you should be uploading next video that is producing another 800 comments. It's just no freaking way you can pull it off. I was doing that for until like last year, where I actually read every single comment on every single video. Every time I got a notification on my email, like once a day. When after stream or before stream, I was clicking through and replied or read every single comment. But at some point, I just said, like, streaming is a full-time job. YouTube is a full-time job. I have no real life anymore. I just cannot. I don't have the time to read through the comments anymore. It's just not possible by the sheer amount of comments. So I hope that it works out for you. But I guess once you are starting to have like 1,000 comments a week, basically, right? Then you're probably gonna remember my words like, probably MB was right about that one. And then at some point you're like, okay, I just cannot do this anymore.
I hope
too much.
not. If I have to schedule out more time, then I have to schedule out more time.
Don't you feel like
you
all
could
this
also
time is,
have?
like,
Oh, sorry, please.
No, go for it, Cat. Go for it.
Okay, you could also have some like dedicated mod, like pre-filter the stuff for you, right? Like a lot of answers, like Taita in chat pointed out, shout out Taita Killer, are just repeats, right? Like you just basically copy paste the answer or tell the people where to find the answer. Like, I mean, for me personally, how I do it is I try to answer things where I'm like, if I answer this, it's going to help more than just that one person. It's going to put things into context for other people, or I can like pin the comment and stuff like that. But if it's like just a question that results from not having listened correctly or having skipped around in the video or not having like any clue, then I opt to not answer them sometimes, right?
I have briefly considered going through my own videos and replying to everybody's comments with timestamps of when the question they asked was answered in the video they just watched. And then I was told that that was a little too passive aggressive and that I shouldn't do that.
It's not, but you
I
always
really
say about,
want to.
but you always say about time schedule. Like, you should, you know what? I'll give you access to my YouTube and you do that for 24 hours, right? And I want to see how you do that, how you manage to pull that one off. And with timestamps, please, right? But this would make you forced to watch my videos.
The timestamps I couldn't. The timestamps like I want to do that, but that brings 10 minutes worth of comments into 45 minutes worth of comments because I have to scan through the video to find it. I'm like, I can't do that.
Or you have to have a prefixed list, like a prepared list with which time code is which moment, like.
But I do really, really appreciate the community that I have, like insanely helpful people. And usually when I decide, you know what, let's check the past videos that I uploaded this week, and I scroll through the comments, 99% of every single comment is answered already. I just don't have to do it anymore. People are answering comments for me. Like, hey, it's there. It just answered that. Or here is the path of building. Here is this. Here is that. People are super engaging and helpful in my comment section. It's insane.
Low key, the people who do that, I absolutely fucking love those people.
Yeah, they're MVPs.
They exist in Twitch chat too, and in YouTube comments. The people who answer correctly because they've heard me give that answer already 16 times.
For me, it's Discord.
And so the next time it comes up, they answer it for you, and you don't have to do that.
Fuck yeah, I got it.
So good.
Six-link?
The ongoing battle was happening. The fight of the century. Actually smurfing.
Yeah.
Got the fucking bastard.
Hey, don't kill it.
No, he's in the glass. It's raining outside. I can't throw him out.
Go for it.
You know they don't die in the rain, right?
Huh? It won't die in the rain, or it will?
No, they don't die in the rain. You can let them out in the rain.
Well, it can stay in the glass for a while. I'm not in a hurry. Like, the thing is also, the risk is when I put it out, it can come straight back in. But if it's under the glass, it's under the glass, so it's fine.
You're holding hostages on stream. Animal abuse.
I think it's better for all people involved, for everyone involved. We solve it like this. So how do we get to this topic from the Chris Wilson topic? We went via item bloat, and how did we get to YouTube comments?
We're just a bunch of homies vibing, dude.
Yeah.
That's true. Like always.
I don't know how we got there.
That's the thing. When you said, "Hey,
flow of conversation,"
you have 4 content creators sitting together, and everybody is used to talk 10 hours straight to themselves. You know, so obviously we could drag this out to 24 hours without any problems. You know?
Yeah,
I think the hardest part about this podcast is trying to down it to 90 minutes.
No chance.
90 minutes
I could talk for 90 minutes about my keyboard. Like that's
a nice keyboard for 90 minutes.
But yeah. Well, we could continue now with the podcast, right? What is next on the list?
Yeah.
PoE 2. PoE 2 has been delayed by the global pandemic, and I mean, we all knew that it was a little bit optimistic to think that already the end of this year they may be starting betas or stuff like that, but we know that it's not coming anytime soon. But we're all impressed, I'm sure, with how confidently Chris Wilson reacted to the question on the podcast when he was asked how he deals with the enormous pressure from the high expectations from the fans. Right, I remember it very vividly, where Chris is like, "Yeah, PoE 2 is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to fulfill all those expectations." And I mean,
that's a hot take, because like I think when you're a gamer, like, and you hear this, like, test me, you're always gonna find something to bitch about. This when somebody is like, "I'm gonna be flawless. This is gonna be amazing." Of course, your mind is gonna be like, "How can I like debunk this statement?" Because that's the gamer mind. I'm not gonna do this because I don't have enough time in my day to just like hate comment on Reddit, but gamers, man.
Yeah, but I mean, we're definitely gonna see a lot of improvements, I'm sure. I mean, it might still have some downsides, but do you think it's a good thing that they're taking their time with Path of Exile 2, and they're like sort of having this approach of it's done when it's done, rather than
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, this is their second game. If they miss it, if they miss the launch of this second game, it's gonna be catastrophic. And even for us, like, I want PoE 2 to be special. I want it to be like tight, like perfect, pretty much as close as possible. I mean, to perfect.
Just to be clear, it's the same game.
Yeah, it's the same game, but it's like that's how they market it. That's how they chose to market it. PoE 2. So I guess like for them, like, and for us, there's so much at stake to just like not mess it up. And like Chris said, like in previous podcasts and interviews, that they had pretty much an enormous amount of leagues, of good leagues that they could give us, like waiting for PoE 2. So I have no problem waiting for PoE 2 if it means that like the product is top notch. Honestly.
Well, to be fair, the good thing is you guys are probably playing PoE since before World War II, I guess, right? Like BalorMage.
Absolutely.
Back in my days.
Like, how many years are you guys playing?
7, 8.
7, 8 years?
Whenever Bloodlines was.
End of 2014.
All right, and I started in 2017. So I started this game in 3.0. This was when you guys were already like several times level 100. So I'm actually pretty new to PoE, basically, right? Playing only for 2 years now, or 2.5 or 3 years, what it is right now, right? So I still do really enjoy it, and I'm not the person to judge it. I know the good thing is I know we're gonna have PoE 2. It's just a matter of time. I was about to say, well, it's probably going to be released next year in like early in the year, right? This was the expectation. But I don't really care waiting another 2 years just because I'm kind of fresh on PoE, right? Like, I was like a big Diablo player before, and if I remember, how long did you wait from Diablo 2 to Diablo 3, right? Like 15 years or so? I don't know. But the thing is, we know it's coming, so I don't mind if they take another year, if it's actually going to still be the best ARPG. And hands down, of all the games that I've ever played, this game is by far the most in-depth and the best ARPG I've ever played. Nothing comparable, and I've played a lot of those games. This game just fulfills all my needs that I want to have in a good game. And if Chris says, you know what we're working on right now is going to blow your minds, because if he, as the company owner, I mean, obviously at one point he has to say it like that. Like, why should he say like, yeah, we're working on PoE 2, but I feel it's shit, you know? Like, you kind of get the idea, right?
Yeah, he's not gonna say that.
But I'm looking forward to it. It's not for me. I wasn't even hyped when it was Exilecon and they announced the PoE 2, you know. Because I'm like somebody that lives in the day, right? I'm not like, yeah, PoE 2 is going to be so sick in 3 years when it comes out, you know? Like, I'm getting hyped. As soon as we say, you know what, next week it's going to be. Next week is going to be PoE 2. Then I'm going to be hyped until like forever, right? It's the same thing when like a new league is going to be announced and people are like, holy shit, how hyped are you because it's starting in 3 weeks? And I'm like, yeah, ask me 2 days before league start, then I'm hyped, you know. But
Wait, for PoE 2 you're hyped 1 week before, but for league start only 2 days before.
pretty much, yeah. I'm like, I don't know, like I'm playing this game way too much, like really way too much. And you know, I'm not a friend of like, yeah, this could be, that might be so insane in like 3 years when it comes out. Imagine the possibilities with the Quadra 6-link and whatever. I'm like not even interested. I'm interested once we say, you know what, next week it's going to be, and then I'm like, holy shit, that's going to be nice, you know. But
I'm
just
actually the same,
dreaming and be like, oh, this might be so good. I'm like, fuck this, dude. I'll use what I have right now rather than like dreaming of something that might be in the future. That's just me. I don't know.
I'm kind of the same as you, actually. Like,
but I'm super happy that they said we're going to get one. So I know it's coming, right? It's better than saying like, yeah, this is it, and for the next 10 years straight, we're gonna have the 3-month cycles of leaks, and that's about it, right?
Have fun with Diablo 4.
Yeah, well, this is probably still PoE 3 will be before Diablo 4.
PoE 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been playing Blizzard games for quite some years, right? You know, Blizzard and release dates, they're just some different thing, basically, right? And you just have to think about when people tell me, oh wait, they announced it at BlizzCon, right? It's like insane and so on. And then I'm like, have you actually checked when did they announce Diablo 3 and when did it actually became live? You know,
like 3 years?
5 years, I think.
5 years? Oh.
I think 2011 or 12 was it announced. In 2015 or so was it released, or like I said, like 3 or 4 years after they announced it. You know, so what I was thinking about the Blizzard here was like more or less.
What? I mean, I don't know shit about D3, but wasn't it released way before 2015? I feel like because I got into PoE 2014 and then by 2015. I mean,
then it might be that they announced it in 2008 and it got released in 2012.
That would make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But it was a couple years afterwards, right? Where I think like people are so freaking upset that they never gonna fulfill our needs in terms of Diablo, that they said like, you know what, we just need to bring anything. Like, guys, just make a fancy looking trailer. Let's bring any kind of gameplay. It doesn't even need to look like Diablo 3. Just we need to bring any trailer so people get hyped, and then we have another 5 years working on the actual game. And this is exactly what I think they do with Diablo 4 as well. Because when I was looking at the Diablo 4 trailer, I mean, the trailer was nice, right? The trailer, I mean, Blizzard was always great at doing those trailers.
Yeah, cinematics are awesome.
The gameplay looked like a little bit polished Diablo 3. So I basically know they just throw something together because they had so many upsets to the community when they brought like Diablo Immortal and whatnot. So I kind of already know that we're not going to have Diablo 4 in the next 3 or 4 years because at the moment it's just getting developed, you know? So the game will look 100% different in what they actually showed us, I guess.
Okay, so I don't really follow Blizzard things at all, but the things that is it weird that the thing that got me excited the most was about them delaying PoE 2 was that it looks like the timing of PoE 2 should be far enough away that there can be another Exilecon right before the thing, and I really enjoyed Exilecon and I want to go again.
Yeah. That would be great,
So
just if it would be a little bit closer to Europa, I would hope.
So far away.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Every convention ever is on the other side of the fucking world for us.
Yep.
All the time. This is the first time there's been something I can just go to.
I was just saying, aren't you from Australia or something?
Was that the first convention that you went to ever?
Yeah, because every other convention is going to cost me like $2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would just be the flight tickets for here to New Zealand, without the actual stay and food and whatnot, you know. So I don't know.
But like, we don't get to do that because all of the conventions are on the other side of the world, like all of them. And this time we got to go.
Well,
it's pretty much either
I want it again.
Either America or Europe, right? So that like TwitchCon, like when was it, last year, 2 years ago. That was the first convention I was to.
I remember the picture of you guys that you sent.
Yeah, that was the first convention I was ever in, But then I really wanted to go to Exilecon. But on the other hand, if you travel half the world, you're not going to stay for freaking 2 days what the Exilecon lasted, right? You're going to stay at least a week or at least 2 weeks to enjoy New Zealand for a trip, And that,
you're either going early or late or both.
Pretty much, yeah. I think there's no way you're like flying like 13 or 15 or even 20 hours per flight and then stay for 2 days and then fly back. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, we stayed for a week and it was like a 3-hour flight.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to, but just the amount of, like, I calculated it, and for 2 persons, obviously, I'm going to take my girlfriend with me for this trip. And I was like 8,000, 9,000 for the entire trip, and I was like, sorry, but that's just too much money. It would be better invested to get a new PC instead to have better stream quality.
And
I don't think there was an option for me. Like, if it was 8,000 and that's what I needed, then I would have found a way to make $8,000. Like, there was no option of not going. That wasn't optional for me. I was as soon as they announced it was happening, I was like, well, I'll be at that no matter what. I'll sell a kidney. Like, I don't care. I will find a way.
Yeah, but for you, it was like way closer, right?
Yeah. Conveniently, I didn't have to, but I would have.
Like I kind of hate myself for not attending Exilecon. Because in the other hand, PoE is my job, basically, right? And this was the first ever, and there might be a second Exilecon, a third Exilecon, but you actually missed the first one, So it's kind of sad. Although I was watching the streams, but being at a convention or just sitting at home watching a stream about the convention is just 2 different things. It's like going to a concert, for example.
Yeah.
Just about to meet all the people. That's like insane.
Hey, maybe he's gonna invite you.
Oh, wait, I'm just not saying anything anymore about this topic. No, but it felt weird on TwitchCon, basically, when we had this Path of Exile community meeting, right? And there were people coming over and saying like, "Yo, mbX, can I have an autograph?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, please sign me that." And I'm like, "Why? Why should I sign this?" Like I don't see myself as like a celebrity or a famous PoE player, right? But I am kind of like, yeah. But I never felt it that way, and it was actually becoming a real thing when people asked me for autographs. It was like kind of awkward. I was even thinking, like, should I sign with my real name, or do I have to make it a certain mbX signature?
No, you make you use the screen name. What?
Is it like a tramp stamp, just like a stamp, just like here, go on your tits? Okay, maybe that's. Like, I'm gonna stop saying stuff like this.
I don't even know your real name. Like, that's not.
I don't even know from the majority of PoE streamers. I don't know, like, let's be honest. Qdog's first name.
Real name.
First name is like Fan.
Scissorans is on his stream page, so everyone knows that.
Scissoran, no freaking idea.
Kettle.
I still don't know it. I know he said it a bunch and that it's on in pub. I don't know. Or care. I don't care about people's real names. That's not important.
Somayd was Alexander or something.
Yeah,
Alexandru?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, that's probably the only one that I probably think.
It's weird because like sometimes with my ex, like she's a PoE streamer as well. Like we used to, like when we were like together, we used to call each other by our like Twitch names. That's kind of weird. It was not always, but like sometimes. He's so bad.
It confuses me so hard right now. I'm like thinking of every streamer like Mathil, like Nugi, like Raze, like all of these Tarke, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea how, like, Who are these? What are those people? No
I do
idea,
not
dude.
know these names.
No.
Wait, Darky is Jake, I think. Isn't Rise
That's
like
true.
Nikolai? No, wait. No, I don't remember. Lucas? I don't remember. I think I kind of know most names. I still don't know Havoc, which is weird because Havoc is probably like the other streamer I'm like the closest to. Like we're really good friends, but I don't know his name.
Thing is, that would be like fun to make like a PoE community quiz. Dude, I would reach 0 point out of 100, or maybe 1 because I was lucky RNG wise that I clicked on the right thing. So, next topic. I'm going to lead the conversation. I'm taking over the Faded Connections podcast.
I'm getting kind of tired, not gonna lie. I woke up early, fresh this morning.
No, I'm not. There's too many topics still left.
Well, what do you guys feel talking about? I feel like we've barely talked about Harvest. We had like 90% sidetracking. We barely talked about like anything like that was actually going on in the league.
Yo, farm shit, craft shit.
I think that's probably 100% my problem, or at least my because in every single podcast that I attend, we end up talking about random stuff and never talk about the things that we actually plan to talk about. So I probably think that's just my problem. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I like
Probably
talking about all
think-
the other stuff, actually.
I think the idea of a topic list is just so that you've got something to refer to if conversation dies down. Hitting all of the things on it is not important.
And you're invited
And
to wrong
deviating is a
people.
good thing.
Yeah, I like the deviation. Oh.
Yeah. That's not topic lists aren't really that important.
Yeah, usually the most interesting conversations take place without being planned.
Yeah.
It's like getting drunk.
Yeah, or like kids.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm kidding.
Well, do you still have like a big goal that you want to try, like something that you put your mind to? That you...
Actually, play the league. Like, start playing the league like it's supposed to be played. But
So solo self-found?
no, okay. So I guess like I kind of made a list of things I want to do. So first, I want to like actually start like really crafting stuff. Like after seeing like MB's items earlier, I'm like, dude, I need like 61s, perfectly divine, 6 white socket, 30 quality items. You know, much more to vendors, just so I can like flex. And like, there's a certain value to just flex. It's just really fun. And then like I want to do like prepare 24-hour stream where I'll be doing like 100% delirious maps solo, and then I'll move over to HSSF. Probably for the remainder of the league. Also, since I have fiber now, also like I'll probably pay Tyler, like Tai Killer, probably like I don't know, $200 an hour to get like his prime knowledge of racing, and so I can be maybe like a disappointing like top 20. But yeah, I'll definitely like get some of this done.
Wait, so you want to go and get into racing now that you got fiber? That's
I mean, I
good
used
news.
to I'm not, I kind of maintain like a certain level. Like I do practice. Like it's kind of a way for me to relax. When I have 3 PoE accounts. I have like my main account. I have another one which is like kind of testing with some tabs, and I have like a secret one where like sometimes just to relax, I'll do like an Act 10 Kitava run, and like this way I stay like I don't stay rusty. I never really rust, and I don't know. I can pull like a 3 hours 40 Kitava Act 10 ISSF. I just like, but now I can start like actually.
Oh, I remember you tweeting about your progress now that you say.
I can practice seriously now because I won't have those desyncs. I'm on 15 ping now, so this
That's
is
amazing.
like yeah, that's amazing, super stable. So
Didn't you actually want to become a professional League of Legends player?
me, dude,
Yeah.
I would get banned on Twitch in a day. Like you should see me playing League. It's like unless somehow somebody finds like an AI that would mute my stream whenever I say something. That would get me banned. Then yeah, I might.
That's probably the same reason why I say on stream like I don't want to play League of Legends on stream. I just cannot because all of this stupid. Okay, we're on there. But it's the same thing, dude. They just fucking like they run it down. They int, they screw up my games. They stream sniping. There's like,
Yep,
just cannot.
it gets to you. It really gets to you.
I didn't even know what int means.
It's like intentionally throwing the game because like something doesn't go your way, so you're like, oh okay. That's
It's
how it's gonna
like
be.
PKing in Path of Exile, basically.
Yeah, it's like, let's say you have a team member that always will reflect on
right.
the maps, right? That's kind of like what it is.
Team member will always reflect on the map. Just had to vividly imagine that. Like, how many times do you realistically get away with that? In a party, it's like, oh shit, I didn't see it. The next map. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I was.
Okay, let's say no regen because, like, okay, let's say no regen. It's still annoying, but you have ways to fight it.
Like, do you guys think that we're going to get a race this league?
Nah.
I
No.
wish, dude. Like, honestly, something I've been talking about, because we've always been talking about the endless stealth that has been a topic for some reason, that Balor
Endless
always says that he wanted, and that GGG, even in an interview, they said that that's a possibility now, that they have the tech, that they can do it. And they literally had that on their website in the interview, like endless stealth in quotations. So like they admitted it was a thing, basically publicly, potentially, and then they haven't done anything about it. So I'd really love Harvest Delve race, and the idea would be that after Act 1 you directly start going into the mines with a lower start, basically, and then you find seeds in the mines, and you don't go into the acts or maps at all. That would be cool. But I'm it's 99% sure that it's not gonna happen. But
I kind of miss, like, most games I've played in my life, was just like an MMO or like even League. Like there always like there's always those events, you know, during, like, I don't know, maybe Christmas, during like special events. I absolutely adore those. Like even PoE used to have some of those, like the race seasons, the battle royale, stuff like this. I feel like it just reinforces the community so much. It might not be the best, like, short-term profit plan, but those are the things that we remember as a community, and that will carry over. So,
yeah, 100% agree. Like PoE wouldn't be in the place it is now if it wasn't for those old race events and old race leagues and stuff like that. And on the surface level, like they said in previous publications, that it hurts the player retentions of the league, and they really don't see how they can do race seasons at the same time as leagues, and they don't know a place for it in the game. And then not really doing any race events. I mean, the last race that we had was end of league synthesis
flashback.
And that's more than a year ago now, right? Or pretty much exactly a year ago?
2 years. It's 7 leagues ago. It's almost 2 years.
7 years. Yeah, right. Okay. There's 7 leagues.
was
On
2
the
years ago
Bright
into
League-
this? God.
And that's
On
the
bright
thing.
side,
As I
it
said,
was another crafting league where we got one.
It was amazing.
So-
This is like
It was
flashback.
before Legion, right? Legion.
Yep.
Legion, Blight, Metamorph, Delirium. So, yeah, basically 5 weeks ago.
and that's the thing. I started in 3.0, right? And this was the first. No, wait, there was one in Abyss League, I think. That was like when I was super fresh. I wasn't even streaming, actually.
End of Abyss League was Turmoil and Mayhem, even, I think.
I don't even know
that was
what
like
the
a
difference
Turmoil Mayhem was
between
like a-
these two are. But the thing is, I've only attended one single league, and I had so much fun. I
Yeah,
remember,
the one where
like,
you did HCSSF, right?
yeah, exactly. And I swear, even though I'm like hardcore solo self-found, no, actually a hardcore softcore trade player, right? Like the hardcore version. Every single race I would play hardcore solo self-found for sure, because I was really, really enjoying it. But the problem is, the best thing would be like 2-month league, 1 month race, right? You don't have to play race, but if we're honest, like how long does a regular player play the new league? Probably a month, right? And then the player base goes like super hard down. Then you still have like the core that is maybe playing 2 months. But after this 2-month mark of the league is like dead. Everybody's like stopping, even myself, you know? Like the last 3 or 4 weeks of the league, I'm not even playing Path of Exile because I just need my break for the new league start and stuff like that, right? But I'm just saying, it would be like so great if we would just have this normal circle, basically, with like 2-month league, 1 month race, and this like every single. It doesn't even have to be something special. It's just something to keep players in the league or keep players interested in the game, basically.
I
I'd
think
love-
that
I'd
would
love
be way
this
too
too.
much.
I'm
That'd
just
be
saying,
way
like,
too much.
usually what I felt like is every time the league is shit, if we call it like that, in terms of player base, or feedback from the community, we had a race, right? So Delph League was great, so it wasn't really a thing, right? Then was Betrayal. Betrayal was actually pretty cool. Then we had Synthesis, you know? Like, they took it like a month to actually fix the leak, right? And after like 2 weeks, the majority of the player base was just disappearing because they were like, this whole Nexus thing, it doesn't work. This is bugged. There is no drops. There is not even maps dropping. It took me 10 hours to freaking spawn the boss. I attended the room and I got disconnected. Or like, the league was shit. You know, it took them a month to actually be able to work properly. And then it was actually a good league. But the player retention was like so freaking bad that they were instantly bringing a leak and the players were coming back, you know? Then it was Legion League, where it said like probably the best league I've played in. And what I know from the feedback of players, they are like, what is your best, your favorite league? It's 99% it's going to be Legion League. It was just amazing.
Really?
Yeah. In terms of softcore, at least. And then
Legion
we had
wasn't
Blight League.
amazing. Legion was like stale meta, and I mean, in terms of top end. And
It was Cyclone, dude. Like,
yeah, it was Cyclone Headhunter 5 ways all the way.
yo, that's not still. Like, it was Puggers, man.
That was really good. At least,
Cyclone rework?
I guess it's just something that was not that great for hardcore, because I still know that these Legion dudes, especially the ones that are slashing their shields and whatever, they just one-shot you. It still happens, you know? So I guess for hardcore players, it was not the best league, as well as Betrayal, probably. But anyways, then there was like Blight League, which was not really great for the community, right? Just because people did not really like it, like compared to Legion and other things. And we would have actually gotten a race, but Chris said, you know, we would like to bring a race, but we cannot because Exilecon. You know, we are full in preparation of Exilecon. We just don't have the time to make a race right now. Then Metamorph was great. Not gonna lie, with all the revamp of Conquerors and whatnot, the Atlas, we had so much stuff to do. Even if you didn't like Metamorph, there was so much new things to find out with Cyrus and so on.
There was also the start of League Awakener race with Metamorph.
Yeah, but I hate that this was at the start of the league, so they were just cheating on every softcore player that needs to, like, in the first 2 weeks of softcore, you make the most currency and you will maintain this currency until you stop playing.
That is just the reason I didn't do the race. I was like, nah, I can't give up my first week. I just can't.
In the first 2 weeks, you're making the most currency that you have in the league, right? And if this race would have been in the third part of the league, I guarantee you there would be 5,000% more people attending it, because they just don't have anything to do anyways, like in the league, right? Because we are playing 2-month league already.
Yeah.
So we're still hoping to this point, like every time there is a bad league, I'm hoping that this time around we get a race, because it only happened when we had bad leagues. When there was a good league, like Delirium, like Legion League, like all of these kind of things, there is no way we're going to get a race.
Thanks for summarizing that.
Since I started playing, but sure.
I just wanted to say thanks for summarizing that. I wanted to cut you off, but then I was like, hey, that's actually good. That's important that you catch us up on when was the last promised race, or when there was the last communication about it. And I almost forgot about that. They said that during Exilecon. But Balor wanted to say something when you started that entire history of the last year or so.
Oh, I don't remember what it was. Oh, other than we're like over 2 hours already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sleepy, boys.
Didn't you say you want to stream?
No, I'm pretty sleepy. That's what I said.
Didn't you say in the beginning that you wanted to stream after this?
Me?
Yeah,
I was just kidding, dude.
sleepy.
No.
Okay.
No. No, I just streamed already. I don't know. I just want to ditch my character and just build something cool.
All right. Yeah, no, great. Yeah, I'd really like a race. I want events again. I want my old GGG back. Please hire someone. Make it happen.
Wait, wasn't Octavian hired for this? Like
not for racing, I don't think specifically.
Okay, or event or something? I don't know. I honestly don't even know.
It wouldn't hurt to have like some sort of department, or like someone who's dedicated to talking about to organizing that sort of stuff.
I would love this. Like, I would love this. Unfortunately, like whenever like you bring stuff that you'd like to see, because this is like the realm of like things that we would like to see, right? Not like things that we want. Like give it to us. whenever you say something like this, there's always like some party pooper is going to be like, yeah, but like according to the data, it's like they don't make enough money, so we cannot have a race, we cannot have fun. So it kind of like cuts the discussion like short when like technically like we're playing a game, and events like this are just like super fun. Now you don't have to play it, and like the more events like this, the less you feel like you have to play them, and only if you really want to engage into this type of content. But I think what would work is like very, very different stuff. Like for example, the Battle Royale was so different from the core game that if you didn't want to play, I barely played Battle Royale because I don't know, I didn't like it. But I like those type of events where PoE doesn't have to just be the same thing over and over. It can also like maybe deviate a little bit and have some different game modes and whatnot. I would love this because I play PoE so much, like sometimes a bit of variety. It's kind of like when your wife like puts a wig, for example. It's like she's kind of different, but she's still the same person.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, and even me as softcore player, I say even like every race that there would be, I would play all those races as hardcore solo self fun just because it is that different from my typical daily bread of PoE, basically.
Yep.
But we don't. Sad face.
Well, that's a sad. Can we not end on a positive note?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, on the positive. Okay, a positive note. Chris Wilson seems to be really healthy. He lost a bunch of weight, and he's like,
Holy
he's shining.
shit!
He looks great.
I forgot about that. Right at the beginning when he came on, I was like, "Holy shit! What happened to Chris?"
Yeah,
Like has he been working out? Like what's
been shredded?
Like he looks good. I don't know what happened.
I'm still more into girls. I don't know. I cannot judge that.
I mean, can you say no to like a shiny chrome dome like this? I can't. Like it's all about the chrome dome, man.
Okay, this is getting awkward.
Hey, I'm tired. I cannot guarantee the integrity.
Okay, any other positive thing that we stop on?
Well, a positive thing would be also if the people could hear about where they can find Somayd on stream and what he does there.
Okay, so you can find me at like twitch.tv/Somayd or on Twitter at SomaydPoE. And what you'll find here is just like softcore action mostly. Softcore trade action. I tend to like play very much solo and as much like self-sufficient as possible. And apparently I'm one of the chillest guy, like I'm always like super happy, super cheerful. I never lose my temper. So yeah, if you're into this type of stuff, come pay a visit.
Sounds good. I I might just do that. Might just come hang out.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be good to have you here.
And mbXtreame, the third biggest YouTuber. Where can we find you? What are you doing?
Usually on YouTube, but if you want price checks, Twitch TV/BalorMage. If you want item checks, Twitch TV/BalorMage. If you need general help about the game, Twitch TV/BalorMage. And if you like to support me, Patreon.com/mbXtreame. All right.
Excellent. Well, yeah, good. For those of you who missed the podcast beginning, this will be uploaded in full to BalorMage's YouTube as usual. And the next episode of Faded Connections should be on the 8th of August, live here on twitch.tv/CatmasterOP. If you're listening on one of the many audio platforms we're available on, make sure to check out the VOD if you want to see our cringe-worthy faces. And our beautiful broadcaster faces. Obviously, I mean, we're all streaming on Twitch. Obviously, we're beautiful. Otherwise, people wouldn't be watching us. And
trick of the light.